Welcome to Maticus Live. We've completed the mission. We've had the final reckoning, and we're here to talk about it. We're going to give our reviews of Final Reckoning. Just got back from the theater, literally like 20 minutes ago. Going to also do a little retrospective on the 8 films in the series. And then later, we're going to rank every Mission Impossible stunt. With me on this mission to discuss everything Mission Impossible, should he choose to accept it, Tom Cruise's long lost son, Alex Scott. Welcome.
I wish that was true. But yeah, I do choose to accept this mission. Of course I do.
I figured you would. That's why I asked you. I knew I needed Alex if I was going to do any true discussion of Mission Impossible. So yeah, thanks for lending your expertise on this one. I know you want
Nope.
to dig into this too, so I'm pretty excited.
Yeah. So I just, a preamble here. I spent in preparation. I have 1,913 minutes of dedicated Mission Impossible content intake in the past week. So
Yeah.
I watched every movie twice. I watched 2 hours of the stunts behind the scene. I mean, I'm ready. I was born for this moment, I think.
This is your
So
destiny, dude.
it is,
You were
honestly.
literally born for this. Yeah. Just
On
like
top of that, I topped it off with Top Gun Maverick and Jack Reacher. So Christopher McQuarrie, add him to the
wow.
list of just consuming his content constantly
Okay.
this week. So
Nice.
yeah,
How's it like was it a nice little just like cherry on top for the Tom Cruise of it all? Those two?
yeah. Well, I mean, it was the last week of school. It was the Tom Cruise curriculum going on in my room. So once I got done with all the Mission Impossible movies, I was like, all right, let's see what else we got. So,
Yeah. What else has Tommy got?
so
Yeah, nice.
yeah,
Well, to start off this discussion, I feel like we should just jump right into the newest one, Final Reckoning. So yeah, what did you think of the Final Reckoning? I'm curious to hear your thoughts.
you want my opinion first?
Yeah, let's hear it.
All right, my pure thoughts are: it's not a perfect movie. It's not the best Mission Impossible movie, but it is the perfect way, I think, to end this series. And
Mm,
I think the tonal shifts of this was a choice made that some might not like, but I think it was apt for this one. I don't know, it just this one had a more serious weight to carry to
yeah,
send off the series. So yeah, not as many stunts, but the stunts that were there were huge and I think had great payoff. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. I'm emotionally attached to this series, so I loved it. So
of course. Yeah, yeah. The legacy of it is like really felt in this final one.
yes,
Um,
it is.
I can agree it's not the best. I think I actually came out of this one a little more because I kind of heard the narrative going in of like,
Hmm.
it's not that good. It's, maybe the weakest
Right,
even. And I was like,
right.
oh shit, I probably won't like it then. And I think it's, it's upper half for me, I would say. I think it's a little more impressive than some of the other ones in some areas. But I mean, weaknesses throughout. But
The thing is, the weaknesses that I read a lot about, especially these kinds of movies, because I really want them to be good. So I'm like in anticipation seeing the first reviews after Cannes or
yeah,
Cannes Film Festival and all that shit. But I went in just like they're saying, oh, the story and narrative is a little weak. It's like since Rogue Nation, I'm pretty sure the scripts have been like 30 pages and they just
yeah,
kind of write as they go. So
they've
like you
always
can't
been that way. Yeah.
exactly.
What, you
So
just figured it out 8 films in? Come on. Yeah.
right. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Now, early into the movie, I was a bit worried because they were playing like pretty fast and loose with like the flashback stuff that they were
Yeah.
doing. Like,
Yeah.
I understand like you need in the theater, you want like everyone in the theater to have like a pretty good experience and understand at least kind of what's going on for this
Right.
film. But I feel like if you look at the grand legacy of the series and if you're ever like watching the movies after it's out of theaters, like you already know exactly what happened the previous film. So like in a way, it's I wish it was like a little bit smarter because then if you like look at the 8 films overall, it's a little cleaner, and you don't have like this final film that's like telling you
Yeah.
stuff you already know. But I was like, yeah, I feel like you got to embrace it because it is about like the legacy and like the history.
Right.
So like it's
Right.
flashing back to all the stuff you've seen.
I agree. And in that same vein, I think like it's not necessary for like guys like us who have just rewatched the movies and I mean I
Right.
I'm a longtime fan, all that stuff, but like the people in the theater with me, first off, all old people, not a single.
Really?
I think blue hair, gray hair, not a single like person with no young blood in there besides me and Sarah. So,
Okay.
but I just feel like that was good for them because they didn't have to go back and rewatch them and like be
Right.
like,
It's for those
oh,
people. Yeah, for sure.
right.
Hundred
So
percent.
I get that, and I feel like that was the studio saying, hey, why don't you put this in there? You know,
Yeah.
because you want to
Especially.
introduce this character and this item, I would maybe throw that in
Yeah,
there.
you
But
gotta kind of give it a little something, something. Yeah, especially because it
yeah.
started as like a part two or like a part one, part two thing.
Hmm.
So like, I mean, now that it's not a part two, I think you do have to do a little more legwork to convince people that it's like
Yeah.
something on its own. Yeah, but I just had a. I mean, we made a lot of rankings, a lot of lists, obviously, and one of the things I was tracking was like the objects of every film. So I was ready to shit on one, and I would say that the Final Reckoning did all the work it could to like
Yep.
redeem it, which is the rabbit's foot. I mean,
Hell yeah.
they
They came
finally
back.
explain it. They literally they tell you they're going to explain it, and they never get around to it until the last one.
Yeah, what is this? 5 films later? So there you go.
Yeah,
If you're patient,
yeah,
you'll have the payoff.
yeah. I mean, they harken back to quite a few of like the characters
Hmm.
and films and
Yeah,
the actions that to me it felt pretty organic how they kind of like tied some of the events into like what we're experiencing now.
definitely. No, I agree, and I think the emotional parts, like again, the tone was a big thing that was different than all the other ones. I would say it's more serious, and like obviously the other films that you have Tom Cruise making these serious, monologues about how the world's at stake and blah blah blah. But like this one, the whole tone is that the entire time. After he steps into the box with the entity, after that, the
Yeah,
tone just changes completely to completely
he's a
serious,
changed
right?
man, right?
Right, and they
He
say
knows what he
that,
needs to
so
do.
it's like I don't know. I think for me it works, and I think the tone was fine because this, like I said, this is the end of the legacy, and
Yeah,
I think it worked. I think it might turn a lot of people off because it's not like
not
funny
as many
per
like
se,
jokes or yeah, a little wit. Yeah,
right?
actually, like
But
I could see that, but it didn't feel as like to to me as grating as Dead Reckoning did, because like
mhm,
Dead Reckoning has moments of like it's pretty serious, but this one I felt like just like I didn't really feel like bored as much or like it wasn't as drawn out, even though it is a really long
mhm,
movie. But
yeah.
so I was down for it. I didn't feel like one note about it. I don't know.
Yeah. No, honestly, I see what you're saying about Dead Reckoning because coming out of Dead Reckoning, I was a little bit on the lower. Like, yeah, it was obviously it's all my rank like star rankings are pretty similar for all these movies. Just because I just enjoy them all. So it's just
Yeah.
like matter of mood. And anyway, but Dead Reckoning I was kind of down on, but after my rewatch and then watching it twice in one week, I'm like, I get it. Like I get why everyone really liked this movie. The critics alike. I don't know, it worked. And yeah, I don't know. It was
Okay.
grating. I see what you mean. Like some of those parts in it, when I first watched it, I was like, yeah, it was fine. I was a little disappointed with it because it was so hyped. Like
Yeah.
the stunt at the end, the big stunt. I thought there was another stunt in the movie that was even better than that stunt. So overall, what I'm trying to say is after rewatch, Dead Reckoning kind of like elevated itself for me.
Okay.
So
Really.
yeah,
For me, it just kind of stayed at the level that
yeah,
I had it at. But you know, most of these movies are above like every most any action movie. I'd
honestly,
say. Yeah. I mean, but okay, back to Final Reckoning though. I have to ask you, like, is this so? It's smarter. It does more work, but basically, like, this is the plot of Eagle Eye. Have you seen Eagle Eye with Shia
a
LaBeouf?
long time ago, but
Yeah.
yeah, I see
Okay,
what you're
it's like
saying.
a rogue AI that's like utilizing like
Yeah.
military people for its goals or whatever. Um, and they both have
Have you
Michelle Monaghan in it.
Did
So
you did you check was Christopher McQuarrie perhaps a ghostwriter on Eagle Eye? Because he
yeah,
he
maybe.
writes a lot
Oh,
of
really?
like yeah, like he goes in and they like call Christopher McQuarrie into like ghostwrite for quite
Hmm.
a few things.
Okay. I
But
wouldn't be surprised because it feels like it's in that vein a little
yeah.
bit. But
Honestly, X-Men, he's like written like three of the X-Men movies or helped write three of the X-Men movies. That's what I
which
was
three?
reading.
Oh no.
I know the original X-Men, I think he had a ghostwriting. Wolverine, he had a whole script that they kind of tore apart after.
Uh,
Yeah, and then First Class, I think.
hey, okay.
I could be wrong on that last one,
Decent
but I'm
hits.
pretty sure
Yeah,
First
not bad.
Class.
Not bad. I just
But
think that's a little bit funny. I mean, it's like 15 years later, and it's the same type of plot, but a lot more believable now,
yeah,
obviously.
no,
So
honestly.
yeah,
And that's I think maybe what made Dead Reckoning kind of elevate, and this one, it's just like the AI of it all. It's just like I don't know, it's
yeah.
present.
I mean,
It's
it works.
applicable.
It definitely works as like a
Yeah,
villain entity. So,
right.
uh, so about some of the characters in Final Reckoning, I guess spoilers, but some send offs, some you think you like you're ready for a send off, but then they don't give it to you. You know, what do you think about?
Yep.
I guess like Ving Rhames and
So going into this, watching, you saw the Instigators, right?
yeah, yeah, I
So
think so.
watching that and seeing Ving Rhames in that, my first thought was, I think I asked Sarah when we were watching it. I was like, "Is Ving Rhames okay? Like he's not moving a whole lot. And he's always got gloves on for some reason, and he's like
Hmm.
not touching a lot of things." So I'm like, "Is he all right?" Um, and going into this movie, I was like, "Is Ving Rhames like gonna be able to do anything in this movie?" And clearly, he wasn't.
Bedridden.
But I think
Yeah,
the way they worked it in, it worked, and I think that that was like the emotional payoff that I felt was good. It was kind of like it's not as good as the Val Kilmer and Maverick payoff, you know,
yeah, for
but,
sure.
like being 30 years with these two characters together. I feel like it was good, and like the whole giant bomb of it all is just kind of like this is kind of crazy for one person, but I don't know,
Yeah,
it's kind of necessary. So
yeah. I thought it was a nice send off. I did question like he's in a hospital bed. Obviously, he's in like some facility that's just like he can do a bunch of tech shit or whatever. But then he's like
yeah,
next to the bomb. I don't know. Maybe the geography was just weird, but he's like in a hospital gown next to a bomb, and it's just a bit silly with that. But I
yeah.
liked his little last line. It was like a nice like little last little hat tip for him. Um,
Did you like his monologue at the end?
yeah,
The
I
voiceover?
liked how he
Yeah,
got like the iconic this little detonate in 5 seconds line. I thought that was a
yeah.
nice tag for him to have it, and just like that at the end, it was nice. Uh, I could see where it's a bit goofy, kind
Hmm.
of, it just like playing out of nowhere, and it's like another little device within this other device that I don't know what the device really does, type
Yeah,
of like thing. But
yeah.
no, I mean I liked it. Some at the end of Final Reckoning, I think like hits some good emotional beats. Obviously for Tom
Hmm.
Cruise's character, but just in general, like I really like the idea like of them like look like just watching people live their life happily and like the impact that that
Right,
message can give you of just like you can affect things around you and like
right.
yeah, yeah,
No
it's
one
good.
has to know. You just do it because
Yeah,
I mean, Ethan Hunt. You're the God, right?
you're the one. Yeah, of
You're the
course.
Christ figure to save the
Yeah,
world, and you have your
yeah,
team, your disciples.
exactly. I don't want to. I guess we can dig into the stunt sequences in the new one a little bit more. Than when we go through like the retrospective, but
Hmm.
just because it's like fresh and we haven't seen them yet. But I really liked the subsequence.
Oh my God, I was hoping you would say that because I mean, the plane sequence, obviously, that's like the jaw-dropping one, and kind of like bizarre watching Tom do that. But the subsequence was so good.
Yeah,
Like,
very well paced, and I
yeah,
mean, I really liked the like rotating when it starts to like
yes.
rotate. The way that they had the camera position to just be so disorienting at
Hmm.
like whatever position it was at was that was really good.
And it was all silent for like 20-minute stretch, and it's
Mm,
just him breathing and going through the sub, and
yeah,
it was, yeah, really good stuff.
yeah, it
And I
starts
know it
well.
wasn't like in the ocean, but it was like a giant tank. I don't know if you saw the tank they built for it,
No,
but
I
it's
didn't.
kind of
Yeah,
insane. It
yeah.
puts Way of Water to shame. The
Oh,
tank is, yeah,
wow.
it's
Okay,
huge,
James
at least
Cameron's
in my
pissed.
opinion.
Yeah,
But
nice. No, I
um,
mean, I was like, it starts like well when like he gets out of the sub and it gets like rammed by another sub,
hmm,
and then you just see him like go away in the distance. That shot's pretty sick. And then yeah, just the way like he gets out of the torpedo hatch, very
yep.
claustrophobic, very cool. I thought too, like the idea. I don't know if you know the story of like Ernest Shackleton, the dude who like traversed Antarctica or whatever
Is he
in
the
like
one who got
1900.
abducted by the tall people, brought under the?
Is that the legend or is that the conspiracy?
Oh, you haven't heard that conspiracy? I think this
No,
is the guy. He was the first one to
probably.
fly the Atlantic, or not the Atlantic,
Okay.
the Arctic.
He was the
Is
first guy
that?
to like walk across it. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, okay. So it might be a
Yeah.
different guy. I know there was a guy who like flew and like these. beings that live in the under the ice, like with
Uh,
technology, brought him down, warned him about nuclear war, and sent him back. Okay, not the same guy.
that was Tom Cruise, dude. I'm pretty
Oh,
sure.
you're right. You're
That's why
right.
he's. That's what we're witnessing right now. After this, no, this
Uh,
was like before planes. I'm pretty like ships, wood
okay.
ships,
All right.
and
All right.
like
Different
basically
guy.
like what he did was like God, I think I watched like a documentary or something a while back, and it just snapped into my brain when I watched this movie because he goes to the Antarctica and then he has to like
Hmm.
go around and go halfway through by like walking, but then he has his other half of the crew take a ship on the other side and like
Hmm.
meet him halfway through because he has to like trust that that person's gonna like meet him halfway or else he's gonna get stuck halfway with like no supplies or whatever.
Okay.
Um, just some wild shit that you would never do, unless you're a fucking crazy man in 1890 or whatever. But basically, the sequence is like he has to get into the sub below, go directly in, and then he has to like trust that his team is gonna do the roundabout way to come
Yeah,
above him and meet him with like
that's
the
cool.
chamber or whatever. So I think it's like inspired by like the plot of that. It seems like so.
That's cool. I had no idea about this. When you were talking about it, though, it reminded me of Sam Witwicky's great grandfather.
Right.
But
Yeah.
no, but that's cool. That actually makes it. I mean, if you know that, I'm sure that's. I wonder
Yeah,
if that's
that
what they were
I was
intending.
like, I feel like Tom Cruise is the type of guy to be like, Ernest Shackleton, that's a
Yeah,
real
right.
pioneer. Like he fucking just went out and did it, and so I think there was a little bit of inspiration, which was kind of cool.
They just have their storyboard and it has stunt one, submarine, stunt two, biplanes, and then he just writes down Ernest Shackleton.
Yeah,
All right, now let's make the
Shackleton.
story.
Hmm. Okay. Nice. Yeah. No, but great sequence. Yeah, I'm going into it a little more later. Couple other notes I had: the presidential war sequences. Those can
Hmm.
tend to be pretty goofy, I'd say, in most any type of this film. Um, but I don't know. I kind of bought it. I was like kind of captivated by those scenes.
Yeah, see, and I agree. And that was another thing I read about it, where they were just like, they just expo dump. I was like, I don't feel like those were expo dumps. I mean, they did their job as an exposition dump, but at the same time, they were still kind of thrilling. I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean, the whole weight of it all is kind of like doom and gloom. I get that. But that's the point of the movie, right? It's
but
all
that's
led up
every
to
movie.
this, right?
Yeah,
And that's every movie. The world is going to fucking end by some nuclear
yeah, right.
war or
Except
nuclear
for
missile launch.
unless Ethan Hunt is there. Yeah,
Right. So I
yeah,
don't know. It worked, and I think those sequences they're all sweaty as shit, and
dude,
all
the
the with all the
sweatiness.
close-ups.
Oh my
It
god.
was. It's like I don't know. This worked for me. I liked it. I mean, the whole movie, for almost a 3-hour movie, it flew by for me. And I think even with those sequences, it was so well paced. I
Yeah,
mean, I don't know.
yeah. I liked them too. Yeah, for sure. And I liked. I mean, the buildup is there, and then the button not being pushed. I mean, it's very cathartic.
Right.
It was nice. What did you think about them bringing back the Langley break-in character?
So when he popped on screen, the first thing I said was I turned to Sarah and I was like, sorting papers in the Arctic. He's sorting papers. She's like, what the fuck are you talking about? I'm like,
Yeah,
he's the guy. And so yeah, I really liked it. And I think his character was one of the best like additions to like bringing him back in the franchise at the end, kind of like bookend the whole
yeah.
thing. I don't know. I liked
Okay.
him. And it wasn't just like a nostalgia for nostalgia's sake. Like he actually played a role. So,
He did serve
you know.
a plot function. That was kind of
Yeah.
nice. To me, it felt like it fell kind of into the standard territory for these types of
Hmm.
legacy sequel shit or whatever you would call it.
Yeah.
Because I feel like when they reintroduced Kittredge in the film before this, it's a little like more tasteful and not as like forced as, or just like
I
hammy
could see
as
that.
this one.
Yeah.
Uh,
I could see that. Uh, I guess I don't know. Since I wasn't expecting any like nostalgia like this to happen, because usually they don't bring any other characters back besides you have Ving Rhames who's been in every single one of them. But like I guess I wasn't expecting it, so maybe that's why it worked more for me.
yeah,
The
I didn't
Kittredge
see it.
ones worked for
Yeah,
me as well. So
yeah,
the only one that was a little weird, but it worked its way into my system here was John Voight's son from
yeah.
the first mission.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the whole idea of it all and the idea of like one handshake can change the outcome was kind of like what wore into me of
Yeah,
it being like, okay, I get why they would say that, amends have to be made here. So,
yeah. I can dig it. I mean, yeah, he's a big power player in the first film, so it's kind of nice to have some
yeah.
tendrils. the Langley dude is like somebody who like on Reddit people were saying like, Tom Cruise ruined the Langley dude's life because he was just doing his job, or like, and it's like, okay, let's give him a nice little
Yeah, right.
ending.
Actually, he loved it and he got married.
He got a
So
wife
fuck
and he
off.
lived for 30 years in peace. Yeah. Well, it's a happy ending for him, I guess.
Yeah.
And then the last note I have, like, just on the objects. So, like, I don't even really know what discussion I'm trying to have on this about the objects.
Okay.
But I feel like
Okay.
every movie just has its own little, like, MacGuffin thing that you gotta, like,
Right.
get. And I just like, which one's the best? What do you like? Do you like this one? Do you not like this one? Because in this one, it's still like the cruciform key, kind of.
Hmm. Yeah.
But then they have that little 5D data drive, and I feel like that's like the one they highlight this time.
That's got to be the coolest one, right? I mean, even at the end, it's like the Pulp Fiction suitcase glow when Tom opens it. So it's just kind of like that's got to be the MacGuffin of
That's when you
MacGuffins
stood
here.
up and clapped in the theater. You're
Yeah.
like,
And I'm like, we love cinema too, you
yeah,
know? I don't know.
exactly. Yeah, I did like it. It when you first had it, it kind of just looked like a little brown, weird
Right.
crystal thing. I was like, oh, yeah, okay. But then when it lights up, you're like, and it's got the entity trapped and genie in the bottle. You're like, yeah, that works.
Which
That
was
works.
that whole sequence was cool as shit. I mean, her being like the only person to be able to do it fast enough.
The 100
Yeah.
milliseconds or whatever, blink of an eye.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Blink of
that's
an
good.
eye.
That's the Mission
Uh,
Impossible shit. You got to have
oh
like
yeah.
these things perfectly aligning in a way that only
Yeah.
Destiny could have allowed. And yeah,
Yeah.
good shit.
But yeah, no, in terms of your MacGuffins, I think that one's probably the best.
The
I don't
best.
know.
Okay. Wow.
It, it's just I don't know. It all comes down to this. So
Yeah. It's still like live too. Like I mean,
it
it's
is.
put into
And he
Ethan
has
Hunt's
it.
hands. Yeah, at the end.
Right.
So, I guess like final thought. What did you think about? Because I mean, it's the final reckoning. It's the last one, or so they say. Because like, I think I mean, obviously, I'll compare this to Bond for the next
Mm,
hour, but like with the newest Bond, they close the book
yeah,
definitively. And this
definitely.
one
Yeah.
they leave it open and they straight up are like, we're gonna need you again, dude. So like, is this the last one or what?
I think for Tom it is. I think
Really?
maybe introducing Benji as like team lead. I think Benji will be the new Ving Rhames, maybe. If anything, if they like continue, he'll be like the man in the chair and
Yeah.
he's the team lead. And maybe Ethan will play like a Kittredge role where he might pop in, but I don't think Ethan Hunt will be like doing the missions.
I don't think Tom can stay away, dude. I
Like
don't
really?
know.
I
Yeah.
feel like now he's moving on. I mean, he's already got like he's working with Inarritu now on a
Yeah.
movie.
That's
I mean,
exciting.
he's got another Christopher McQuarrie movie coming
Mm.
that he's gonna do. So I feel like he's ready to move on from the Ethan Hunt of it all.
Okay.
And I think he might be in that late state. I mean, I could be wrong,
Yeah.
honestly. He might come back, but the man's 63 now, and he filmed the biplane scene when he was 4 years, 3 years younger. So like he was 60 when he was filming that.
Wow.
So I don't know. I mean, maybe he's just built different. I don't know,
Yeah. I
but
mean,
I
he
think
hit
it's over.
63, and that's like retirement age, and maybe he just takes it seriously. He's like, I'm done with that chapter, and
Right.
on to the next.
And I mean,
We'll
he
see.
did it. So like no one else can say like Tom Cruise is honestly, I know it's been said, but like is he the last action movie star that we have?
Mm. Action movie star. I can't even. I'm like
Like
my
is there
brain is
anyone better than
searching.
him right
No,
now, new or
no.
old? And do you see anybody in the near future coming?
I'm trying to think of like who's definitively like strictly an action star. Would you say like Chris Hems? Like I don't even.
That would be like my only thing that can compare would be Chris Hemsworth. I mean, you had Ryan Gosling try,
Mm.
couldn't do it. You have
Keanu, I guess, is probably the
Keanu Reeves.
biggest,
Yeah. I
but
mean, people of the past, you have Schwarzenegger and Stallone, but they're long retired from
yeah,
that
yeah,
role.
no, they're
So
even older. Yeah, I'd say Keanu's probably the torchbearer now, just in
yeah,
action lore or action culture. But um, the acting side of Keanu doesn't live up. Tom's got chops, so
he does.
it's
He
tough
can
to
play
beat that.
roles.
Yeah,
Like he can act and be the action star,
right.
which something
You
Keanu
need that.
can't do. Keanu has the charm and like the kindness that people are like, I love this guy because he's sweet.
Yeah.
But you know,
You know. Yeah.
same reason why you can't like hate dogs because they're sweet, right?
Right.
I
They're
mean, they could be
warm. Yeah,
bad
they love you.
dogs, but
Yeah. Exactly. That's tough. I mean, yeah, I could see that in a way. And I don't think they're gonna make movies like this ever again,
no,
unfortunately. So we'll
yeah,
see.
it's.
We'll see. End of an era.
I think yeah, I think he's done, and I think the team left. I think if anybody's gonna take the Ethan Hunt role, it might be the Palm Girl.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I can maybe see
I could
that
see
being
that.
like the continuation of like
She's got a
the
lot to like
series.
do still for like her
Yeah,
agent like role. You know,
right.
like she's still at the beginning, kind of like where Ethan's at. They're like in
Yeah.
one. You know, angry and shit. And yeah, decent. I like Haley Atwell's character. I'd watch another
Hmm.
movie with her probably, but I feel like Simon Pegg's he's up there too. I feel like he's got to be the man in the chair, but he's not going to be like
Right.
the leading guy. And whoever that
Right.
other dude is that they toss in every shot every once in a while, it's like no, they know that
Yeah.
that guy's not the guy. So
Right.
yeah,
And the only thing that I felt that was missing for like the big payoff, which I get this is like a part two, and like you kind of have to see it like that, even though they took the part two out of it, was Ilsa. I feel like it would have been more like emotionally, gratifying if she was the one to like bring Hunt back to life again after,
yeah.
he dies, drowns. I don't know.
Yeah, Haley Atwell's a good. I like that character a lot. So like, I can't be like super mad at it, but I agree that
Right.
like Ilsa's a great introduction when she comes in,
Yeah.
and yeah, I kind of wish she stuck through to the end. Dead Reckoning, man. That's what I'm saying. It's not my favorite because like they just, it's like they needed something shocking halfway through there to like
Well, I
piss something
guess
off.
I mean I thought that same thing too, where it was just like they wanted to write her off, but then I watched her talk about how she wanted to back out because, like we've mentioned earlier, they write the stunts, they do the stunts, and then all the other actors wait around for their time to like act.
Yeah,
So like,
she's got to go do solo,
right, and that's what
right,
she said. She said in the time
or
between
silo.
like waiting, she did Silo, 2 seasons of
uh,
Silo. So
uh,
yeah, so I
I
think
get it.
she wanted out just for the sake of like making a living. So
Yeah, trying something else. Understandable, I guess. Tom's he doesn't work like anybody else. So you just got to be on board, I would say.
right.
So a few highlights that are exemplified in Final Reckoning, but also are just kind of like general highlights and notes for the series as a whole. I would say that the global conflicts feel like actually pretty truthful and like well thought out. In basically every movie, some of them obviously they get to like cheese territory or just like
Mhm.
it's just nukes or mass destruction and it's just like kind of like faceless,
Right.
mass destruction. But I feel like with like the chain of command that you see in a lot of the films, the stakes of like the individual missions that they tell you like why they're doing this to do this, type of thing.
Hmm.
Sometimes it falls into like gibberish and you just tune out. But I feel like the macro scale of a lot of like what they're trying to do just feels pretty good. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. No, definitely. I agree. And then like one of the best things I read about this was you don't have to try hard to make me like these movies, but they try so fucking hard. And like I agree with stunts and even like the story is as basic as it comes. You stop the world from ending, right? But they try hard to add all that gobbledygook and make it like
Yeah,
I don't know.
the most important thing.
Right. So hats
I
off
get
to
it.
that. And it works. And in my opinion, it works. And it has worked for 30 years. So
Yeah, I feel that for sure. Like Bond, another note, like Bond, this series, it's very toned back compared to Bond, but it does know when to toss in just like a little bit of that sexuality. Tom Cruise, obviously,
mhm.
cut man, and he's not afraid to just cut his suit open to be, half naked.
He was
But
in his boxers, I think, more in this movie than any movie he's ever been
yeah,
in.
he wants to prove it right here at the last one. He's like, I still got it, motherfuckers.
Yeah.
But their their shot of choice in Mission Impossible is the down the shirt shot.
Hmm.
Uh, they'll just toss that in every once in a while to be like, you know what, we understand why Bond is good or why people like it. So
You like
Uh,
action, you like sex, you like drugs. We'll
yeah,
give you a couple of them.
you like Haley Atwell slow mo trying to
Mm-hmm.
revive Tom Cruise in a very low
Right.
cut shirt, and I can't argue with you. So,
Oh,
uh,
fine, I'll watch it. God.
yeah, like all right, it's in slow mo, I guess, whatever. Uh, and last note I have, um, and this is just like the biggest like thing about why I think I appreciate the series myself, and that's Ethan Hunt's character and the way that he like garners respect, because
Mm-hmm.
like compared to Bond, everyone respects Bond because he's so cool and he's like such a ladies' man or whatever. But with Ethan Hunt, like he garners respect through like ideals and like actions that he
Yeah.
instigates. And those ideals are like hope, like putting others above himself, like
Right.
sparing people who are just like in the same line of work as him, and he like obviously doesn't need to just like ruthlessly end their life if he can sway them, stuff
Right.
like that. I just feel like he's like a fantastic action protagonist,
Definitely.
and that's Tom Cruise. Like that's like it's all very wrapped with him.
Mm-hmm.
He's kind of patting himself on the back every movie in a way, but it's just like it just works. It just works for
Yeah.
me.
And on top of that, I mean, by making these choices to like save his teammates, he makes the mission even harder. So I mean, he does what he has to do to protect his people first, knowing that eventually he's gonna have to save the world, but he's gonna do it on his terms. It's like you said, he's just like a perfect action protagonist to be like on the side of, because you
Yeah,
always know he's gonna take his team first, and you don't always have that. Like Bond is like it feels like a one man army type thing, but with
yeah,
this franchise and what elevates it a little bit more for me for Bond, besides the Tom Cruise of it all, is the fact that it feels like it has like heart and soul. You know,
yeah. For
it's
sure. I
not
mean,
just
yeah,
a man who's like a womanizer who wants to get a mission and like he's
go
Double O
on a
Seven
nice
agent.
vacation. Yeah,
Right, and you see all the other agents that could do it, but like in Dead Reckoning, yeah, Dead Reckoning, when they're in the meeting before Tom Cruise bombs them all, and they say, "So you just if you can't get the mission, you call upon one guy who can get it done and hope that he does it." It's like that's it right there. I mean,
yeah.
yes, that's
You
what
don't
they
know
do,
this
and
guy.
he does
Yeah,
it right. So
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean, it all stems back from like the first film too. So, I do want to just kind of go through each one and give like a few general thoughts on just like the
yeah,
retrospective after doing a rewatch. Because like in that first one, he like loses his team, and that like sets off. I mean, we don't know what he was like really before this. We get some like little bits of backstory from him, but
yeah,
that's like maybe where he forms like my team is, the most important thing for me now in every mission
hmm
going forward. It seems like
right,
that. Um, but yeah, I just want to from cappuccino to cruciform key because in the first scene that you see in Mission Impossible, Tom Cruise is like joking around in the office like about a cappuccino
yeah,
machine.
about a bad coffee.
Yeah, it's just like holy shit to see where it starts and where it goes, man. That's a wide gap, but it's cool. But I mean, did you rewatch all of them? Did you get to like the early ones?
Oh, I rewatched all of them twice except for one and two. One and two I watched once, but I did
Okay,
rewatch all of them from start to
nice. I
finish.
mean, I
Yeah.
was very surprised on my enjoyment of the first film. I don't know how you take
Oh
or how
yeah,
you would enjoy the first compared to the rest, but
when I rewatched it at the beginning of this year, because this is my second, my I guess my third rewatch at this point. But like I like to rewatch these movies all the time, and like these are like the series that Sarah will actually watch with me. So like I'm like hell yeah,
nice.
cool. But yeah, after rewatching the first one, I'm like this movie is like I get it. Like this is next to Pulp Fiction, is this the pop culture sensation? Like the second most important pop culture sensation of the 1994? I don't
I
know.
think it sounds like it is for you, I would say.
I mean,
Um,
maybe. But like it's iconic. The things that happen, the hanging from the ceiling, I mean,
yeah.
the whole Mission Impossible of it all, the Tom Cruise of it all.
Hmm. Yeah. I
Anyway,
mean, I thought it's interesting to see just how much of like a Bond ripoff that the series actually is. I mean,
hmm
it obviously has its bones in like the TV series that came in like
yeah,
the 66 or something like that. So ultimately, it stems from that. But I would say like they clearly had a structure
yeah,
set for the first film. It's like we're gonna do the Bond shit. I mean, they even
right.
have like the intro title sequence stuff, like the cut to the title. I would say I would argue that Bond's title scenes are better because
Really?
yeah. I just don't
I
really
think
like how they show you the stuff in the movie.
later in the series. Oh, you don't like that? You don't like
No,
the to come clips?
I don't like it.
No, I
It
like
spoils some
those.
stuff.
It does it a little bit, but I feel like it gives you that anticipation of like, oh, when's
It's
that scene
coming.
gonna happen?
Yeah,
Uh, but yeah, no, I mean, when this one came out, it was Brian De Palma, right, who directed
yeah,
it. So like a sophisticated director.
yeah. Deep into
Um,
his career too. I'm
so
pretty sure. Like he was like
yeah,
maybe 20, 15 years in or something like that.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, you feel like the skill at the helm of it.
definitely.
And I always heard that like Mission Impossible 3 felt the most like TV or whatever or like cheap,
Yeah, yeah,
but I kind of feel like the first one feels like the most like a TV show or like an old
really,
school homage, like throwing it back to those kind of like smoking, like when it's smoking in like the plane or whatever, and he's like,
yeah.
it's just so very restrained in a way.
See, I could see that argument up until the where he goes to the fish tank cafe thing. Then
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of like elevates to like this is a sophisticated,
The set pieces
thriller.
pop off, yeah, like way
Yeah,
more than what you can do on TV for sure.
yeah. The Dutch angles kick in, so you're just kind of like, oh, I'm kind of like intense now. Like this
Yeah,
is, yeah. So
yeah, yeah. I always feel like it's a bummer that Emilio Estevez gets taken out so early in the
right,
series. Like he
right.
kind of gets short shrift on like what he could have done down the road.
One of the most gruesome deaths next
Dude,
to
yeah,
fucking Cavill in the six, but like
yeah,
that death was crazy. Just
yeah.
fucking
Kind of a gruesome one in Final Reckoning too for
yeah, yeah,
what's nuts
yeah. That's
Gabriel.
true.
Yeah,
Yeah,
kind of a goofy one, but and then the train sequence at the end. We'll talk a little more on it, but just that shit was like the way it just accelerates and like literally like the train conductor's like, no, you can't slow down, you have to go faster because the
right,
chopper's right fucking behind us. It's like, yeah, like when most series will slow down, this one just keeps going and fucking
right.
steps on the gas.
And that just shows like the absurdity of it all. People saying like these keep missions keep getting more and more absurd, and the way Ethan Hunt gets away with all this stuff. In the first movie from 1994, he blows up a helicopter with a stick of gum while being chased on a train, but once he blows up the helicopter, it blows him onto a moving train that's moving away from, like, it's always been absurd. Come on.
It's
But it
right in the
fucking works
roots.
because it's exhilarating.
Yeah,
So
yeah. And then the object in this one, the OG object, the knock list, which they
yep,
bring back. At least they explained it to me because I didn't really know what it was. But it's the complete record of overseas spies, right?
yep, yep.
Okay. I mean, makes sense. The stakes, for the agency.
Right.
It's not life or death, I guess, for the world
Just
in that biz.
exposes the inner workings of our government, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know.
These. All right. Mission Impossible 2. This is like I watched all the Bond films, so I have the back history. It's I'm losing it day by day, but I would say that this is like the cheesy gear that Bond can go into. It like can slump into this one sometimes, where it
Yeah.
doesn't know how serious to take itself anymore. Um, but simultaneously, I will say like on this rewatch, this one's like less glazy than the first, and less maybe potentially less like glazy than like the next few where it just is like plot and action is just like mindless. In the second
Hmm.
one, it like hooks you. I'd say the dialogue kind of feels like a little more like real or full, and I just think the style actually worked for me on rewatch. I don't know. What do you think about the second
Yeah,
one?
no, I'll defend this movie just because I think, not just because it's a Mission Impossible movie, but after rewatching it, I think the only thing that it suffers from is the studio probably making John Woo edit the shit out of some of the things.
Hmm.
But overall, I mean, it's got the pop. It's super entertaining. I mean, it's got one of the best fucking intros of the series. I mean, throwing your shades at the screen to blow up.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, hell yeah,
Yeah.
it fucking works. I mean, it's a huge swing tonally and like
Yeah. Yeah.
the action sequences, the way John Woo does it, where it's just like super over the top, crazy stuff. But again, it's never not been over the top and crazy for this series. It's just a
Right.
different style in
Right.
this one.
I was like, I know this is like obviously most people's lowest because it's like this is just doesn't get it, doesn't get. But like I kind of think like John Woo's action filmmaking isn't like just so inherently like stylized well that
Yeah.
like the visceral truth comes out in a lot of the filmmaking in that one. There's like a sheen of like sweat. I feel like when I think about Mission Impossible 2, or it's like you
Yeah.
can feel like the grittiness somehow, and I kind of liked it. Uh,
Yeah.
it stuck out.
And like Tom
Um,
Cruise is having fun in this one. Like when he meets the I don't know her name. It has escaped me. But when they meet for the first time while she's stealing, it's like, oh, this is actual chemistry. Tom Cruise knows how to have
mhm.
chemistry for a change. So
Yeah, I would say. I mean, most of these films kind of overstay their welcome, but the second one overstays its welcome by like 45 minutes or so. But and then the object chimera. This
mhm.
is like just like a deadly pathogen or something, or like what's
Yeah,
this?
that's what I saw it as. I mean,
Yeah,
it's just like
because
a pathogen that they created in a lab for gain of function. I think it started as like gain of function research or something, and then one guy was like, "Here, I can make a super weapon out of this, but I also have the antidote." Uh,
classic. That's
Twists
very Bond esque.
mustache. Yeah.
Not bad. I mean, there's where like the stakes really pick up. Okay, Mission Impossible 3.
This one and the second one is where I can like interchange on my list of like
Really?
rankings, I would
Okay.
say. Yeah.
What do you think about the third one, which is like generally then?
So the third one, so I have distinct memories with I think all of these movies. So like the second one, I just remember seeing the VHS in my home
Mm,
like a long time ago and being like, Tom Cruise, we watched those. But this third one in particular has like soft spot for me because I was sick at home one day and there was a store in Kankakee. Did you know the video store in the Kankakee where you go in, you pick a yellow or a white tag and you go rent the movie?
mm,
No? Okay. I just know you're from that area, so
yeah,
I
yeah.
figured you might have known about it.
No.
But that was one of the movie stores we always went to, and we got this movie and I think Herbie Fully Loaded. So
Hmm.
like we were at home and watching this movie, and Herbie. We had two TVs, so like the kids were watching Herbie, but then like seeing Mission Impossible play as the parents were watching it, I'm like, I'm interested in this. So then we switched and I watched this
Ah,
third Mission Impossible.
that
And
was
the
the
sequence
moment.
on the bridge where he blows into the car is just like ingrained in me for forever,
Yeah, yeah, for
as like
sure.
one of like the most exciting things of my childhood. And him running with a cell phone, akin to the Matrix, you might say, but him running with a cell phone to his ear as he's getting directions, similar to Keanu Reeves in the Matrix. For some reason, I reenacted those kind of sequences my entire childhood of like I have a fake cell phone now I'm running with it. So uh,
Nice. I can
yeah.
see it. Yeah, yeah. I feel
So
like
nostalgia makes me love this movie more than I should.
I understand it. Yeah. I
Yeah,
I don't want to bring you down, but I will say that I think this is my least favorite.
I
Uh,
understand. Yeah, I
and
understand.
I remember like liking it okay, and I didn't really like it as much this time. But I feel like the narrative, um, I don't know. I just feel like this one is like supposed to be a TV show, but this one just feels like a bunch of nonsense plot for like. I guess maybe that is like a TV show, but I feel like
Yeah.
TV has to like hook you with good dialogue, and this one doesn't really do that. But
The only thing I'll give this one credit for is it kind of starts the thread for all these movies. I mean, he gets married to Michelle Monaghan's character,
yes.
and that's kind of like starts the let's make this a thing now. Let's make these movies connect
Mm-hmm.
and like make something more of this universe rather than just another Bond type
Yeah,
show.
right.
You
Let's
know?
get some focus going for sure. I'd say
Right.
that's the biggest highlight is like the secret life or like the normal life that Ethan has in that film
Yeah.
and what it pays off later.
Right. Yep.
And I really like his job that he has his fake job of like analyzing traffic
Yeah.
patterns. That's just like
What
a
a fucking
perfect
dweeb.
detail. Yeah, he's like the ripple effect or whatever. Like one moment and you can trace it for
Yeah.
miles. Yeah,
I
he's
I
the
will say it did feel like a movie made by a guy who just loves Mission Impossible and spy shit because it's like
yeah.
running the greatest hits of Mission Impossible gadgets, running up a wall, doing the rope fall thing. So
That's true. I feel like it's just not as pronounced. And like maybe it's just like literally the shaky cam in that movie too is just
oh,
like
so much shaky cam. Yeah.
yeah too much for sure. Okay, but I mean this is the MacGuffin that I was like, oh, this has got to be the worst, right? The rabbit's foot. It's a cool name, but it's literally not even explained. Like they don't do any work for it. So
No. Cinema's greatest mystery. What
Yeah,
is the rabbit's foot?
that's the J.J. Abrams effect, I guess, right?
Fucking
Yeah.
JJ. Yep.
Okay, Ghost Protocol.
JJ turned this one down to go direct Star Trek. So now we have Brad Bird.
Yeah, interesting choice for Brad Bird. I respect it.
Yeah. First
Yeah.
live action movie.
Hmm. I like this one, and this is the one that I think if I were to ever like rewatch them again, I think this is the one I am underappreciating at the moment. I'll say that.
Thank you for saying that.
Yeah.
This is the one that made me love this franchise. Like when this came out and I watched it, I was like, let's fucking go. Like
Yeah.
this is the movie I've probably seen the most of like any movie ever. It's up there in like the top 5 of my most rewatched movies because once I watched it, I was like, let's do it again and just would rewatch it constantly. So I
Run
love
it
this
back.
movie.
Yeah. Cool.
This is like the peak Tom Cruise. I mean, I'm growing my hair out because I've always wanted to do it like Tom Cruise in Ghost Protocol from that moment. It's just my mom
Mm.
always made me get haircuts when I was younger. So
I see it now. Yeah.
yeah.
Nice. Are
Um
you
but
are you practicing
yeah,
your
this
suction cup stuff on the?
yes, I'm practicing my climbing.
Yeah. Good
Working on
call.
it.
Good call. Um. Yeah. I mean, I think this one has like a lot of like good story techniques,
Hmm.
and it kind of like picks up like the pace for like what Mission Impossible should be doing. Like
Yeah.
they're not where they are at the end yet because this is kind of like a bridge movie in a way, in a good way.
Yeah.
Um, but it's just it's kind of on its own. You know, it's like it's same with like Mission Impossible 3 and 2. They just and 1. They feel like distinct,
Yeah.
like their own kind of things still.
Well, this is the one that like solidifies Tom Cruise finally just putting his life on the line for this franchise.
Right.
Because climbing the Burj Khalifa is like this is him finally doing it, and
Yeah.
it's no more like just sound stages. It's
I
let's
got to
do it.
prove
Let's
something. Yeah, and
right.
he does for sure. Yeah.
So
I would say that's the highlight of the movie. Obviously, that's what you
hmm
think about is the Burj Khalifa stuff. But I do like some of the moments. Like it's just a more clever writing, and you're 4 movies in, so like the call to action when it's like the call, literally the phone call, and it's like in 5 seconds it's gonna explode, and then
yeah,
it doesn't. You know, and it's like
right.
you gotta. It's like it's got somebody who knows the franchise and is messing around in there, and you can feel that in a good way.
And his government's turned against him like it does many of times, but like nothing's functioning right. So he's really feels like he's on his own.
Same
So
story. They
yeah,
never trust him. God.
and the whole idea of like hope being a strategy kind of starts in this one too when he throws
Yeah.
the body out with the flare and Jeremy Renner's like, why did that work? And he's just like, just do it on a whim.
We're gonna figure it out. Yeah.
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 So
And I think this has maybe the best ending of any in the franchise
mm,
with them like sitting
hmm
around the table. That whole
yep.
discussion is great, but then it ties back to Michelle Monaghan's character
Yeah.
from the third one. It's like, yeah, it's very nice. I like that.
This one I think is why the end of Final Reckoning really like hit home for me because that's it felt like a callback to this ending.
100%.
Whereas
I felt
they're
that
all
too.
looking at each other, they give each other the nod, and it's they laugh and move on.
Almost the lighting in
So
that scene too. I was like,
right,
you're trying to trick my brain. 100%.
exactly.
Yeah.
So I definitely felt that in that last one,
Mm-hmm.
and of course it's one of my this is my second favorite of the series. So it was just kind of like feels
Yeah.
good.
Cool. Well, this one is literally just nuclear codes.
Yeah,
Keep it simple. After the third one, where it's like a completely magical item that you don't explain, this one is just a
right.
completely
Yep,
understandable.
cut and dry.
Yeah,
Get the codes, stop them
yeah.
from going off
Stop
in the
the
wrong
nukes.
hands.
Yeah. All right, Rogue Nation. I would say this is like the true introduction to
Mhm.
like what Mission Impossible is now that we know
Right,
of it. I wonder if
definitely.
it's like compared to some of the style that you feel in the previous films. I love these films now in the later stages, but is it like too clean and too clear for like the franchise? Do you think it lost a bit of its edge for like shine? I don't even know how to, if I'm describing that well.
I definitely see what you're saying because it is a complete shift in like everything in the movie, the way it looks, the way it feels, the way the characters interact. I mean, it gets like it turns up the comedy even a little in it,
Hmm.
and it just I don't know. I could see that, but I also like most of these has a distinct. This was like the last movie I saw with both my parents before they got divorced. When we went to the theater, I convinced them to go see this Mission Impossible movie because I saw the critics were like raving about it. I'm like, cool. Like, is Mission like, are we in? Are we
Yeah,
back
yeah.
officially? So
I would say
yeah,
this is what seals the deal. Yeah, it's like, oh shit, we gotta keep our eyes on Mission Impossible now. You know.
definitely. And the whole tonal shift from like Ghost Protocol, I could see how it feels like it's kind of like here's the college proof of concept, and now this one's like the refined because the scene in the opera is just kind of like, what is this? This is Mission Impossible because this feels super sophisticated for Mission Impossible. So
Yeah. I mean, we'll get into the stunts, but fucking killer stunts in this one too, where
hell
they
yeah,
really prove
definitely.
themselves on like a scale. Yeah.
Yeah,
I would say maybe worst villain, Solomon Lane. Not a fan of
really.
Solomon Lane as a character. Just don't care about him that much. I don't know. I mean, it's just me.
I could see that, and I get like the series isn't known for its villains. Like everyone's like the third one is great because Philip Seymour Hoffman's fantastic. He's always fantastic though. Okay,
Yeah, right. I mean,
it doesn't
he's
make him a good villain. He's just a good actor.
exactly.
but but
This one, the
we're there to
object.
watch Ethan Hunt.
Yeah, exactly. This one, the object is a disc for the syndicate,
Yes,
and it's just
a
is this
bunch
like
of
another
money.
names? It's money.
Money to fund the syndicate for their activities that they want to do.
Right, right. Okay.
Yes.
It's like a few Billy, couple Billy.
Yep.
Yeah,
Oh, it's yeah, it's a handful for
yeah.
sure.
I
A
love
lot of
that. Like
money.
the and Rogue Nation 2 is like where the plot starts to kind of spiral into the
Hmm.
final films, you know, like
Yeah,
everything matters after this one because I love the idea of the Rogue Nation and like the syndicate stuff. That's a
yeah,
great concept.
definitely. And like this one too is like Ilsa being introduced as a character was like one of
Yeah.
the greatest additions to the series. And like the moment where Benji's got the bomb strapped to him and he's says, I am the disc now, and Ilsa looks at Tom like she's completely in love now because he's not only the brawn, but he's got the fucking brains too.
Yeah.
It's like this is like perfect. Whatever they're doing here, this is magic.
Yeah, keep
So
it going. Yeah, it's working
yeah.
because then they do for Fallout. I
Yep.
mean, hot diggity, this is everything, right? For me, I would say, but
Yeah, hell yeah. This is the best of the franchise, clearly. It's one of if not the best action franchise in the last what, 20 years, 10 years? Not franchise, sorry, movie.
yeah, okay.
And like I don't know. It's one of my favorite movies. It's definitely my top 10, so.
I bumped it to a 5 stars on rewatch, and
Mhm.
I would say I kind of have like a reasonable take on like most of the Mission Impossible movies, but Fallout, something like the magic cannot be denied. The pacing, I think, is really what makes it excel. Like every
The
story chunk
soundtrack is
feels,
killer in this one.
yeah, I mean, that's true. Every chunk of the film feels like totally earned in ways that
Yeah.
some of the other ones might not. The characters all feel like they're fucking popping at like the perfect time in the film when
Yep.
they come in, and God, yeah, goddamn, goddamn.
Like they waste no time either. I mean, Halo jump into bathroom fighting sequence,
Yeah,
into
it's early.
motorcycle chase, into car chase, into
Two fucking
chase
helicopter
running
chase.
across, yeah,
Yeah,
into
right.
helicopters, into fighting on it. Yeah, it's just nonstop.
Yeah, and some of just like the plot stuff and character stuff just like works so much better. It's just more
Mhm.
interesting. I would say the Wolf Blitzer like fake out scene at the beginning of the film, cut the title. That scene is amazing. So
I
good.
told my students when I showed them this one, I was like, guys, if you're gonna watch anything in this movie, this is what you need to watch because this whole sequence right here is like the perfect intro. And
Yeah,
then the walls fall, told you we'd get it, and then it's we got it.
he's over there.
Boom.
Yeah, that
Dun,
might be
dun.
like the best scene in the franchise.
It's
Honestly, that
so
scene is
good.
so good.
Yeah, it
Also, you
is
got
so good.
John Lark, just a great name, but a great foe because it feels like he's like the first villain that's like
Yeah.
actually completely at the level that he's at.
Hmm.
So good, Henry Cavill, so good. Um, and then you got like Ilsa and this new team, kind of like
Yeah.
forming up with the film, and then you get the OGs coming in like halfway, picking them up, you know, and it's just like,
Yep.
just feels fresh, just feels good.
It does. It's great. And if anything, what solidifies this is probably like peak Mission Impossible is even my sixth graders, who all week were one of them specifically all week was telling me, Samuel L. Jackson's the best actor. Tom Cruise has got nothing, and I'm like, Samuel L. Jackson's a sellout for Marvel at this point in his life. Don't get me
Ooh.
wrong, love his acting in a lot of movies. I mean, Jules is probably one of the best movie characters ever, undeniable. I get it. You don't know Jules though, sixth grader. But then so anyway, he's gassing up Samuel L. Jackson,
Yeah.
Dog and Cruise, and then the helicopter sequence happens, and he is locked into the screen. And he turns around, and he's like, I go up behind him, I'm like, this is pretty exciting, isn't it? And he's like, I'm not gonna lie, this is cooking. I was like, hell yeah. So
You know cinema at least. Like it's got takes, and I appreciate it. Hell yeah.
so this one won even a sixth grader over. So
Yeah, it's undeniable. Yeah, I mean, we'll get into the stunts. Those are probably going to be towards the top, I would say. But
absolutely, yeah.
and then what makes this one like really special is like the payoff for like Michelle Monaghan's character from 3 coming
Hmm.
like the emotional side actually being tied into the film with Ethan's journey. Like some of the other films don't really do. This one just like it's got like the
Yeah,
full package, you know. Object. What is the object in Fallout?
the plutonium, right?
Pluto. Okay,
Plutonium cores.
this one I was like, I didn't even have it. So
Yeah. If
okay.
anything, it's the plutonium, but that's not really a MacGuffin, is it? I mean,
No, that's. I was like, to its credit, I think it dispersed with like the one item as much as it could
right.
in Fallout to just be more of an interesting film
Yeah.
overall. You know.
If it had a MacGuffin, yeah, it would just be the plutonium cores, but no.
That makes sense. Yeah. Okay, Dead Reckoning.
Yep.
I would say this is lower on my rankings, and we'll go through our rankings just real quick here in the end here. But just the entity and the key talk, man, it's just wild in this film. It's just too much,
Yeah.
too
I can see
much.
that.
I feel like the writing reverted back to like Mission Impossible 3's like level almost. Like
No, I definitely there was when they're at the club, the talk of the entity did wear on me.
yeah,
Like I do understand they're saying the entity. It's like I get it. They're the bad guy. We know it its name. Chill.
yeah. The key I
So
think is worse than the entity, honestly, but I think like some of the scenes pops though, like the players that you have in those scenes in the club and after like
hmm.
they're all like at the height of their game in a way that's like
Yeah.
it's very dynamic, but and I agree. I do like the entity as a villain. Like I like that there's like a metatextual approach to Dead Reckoning where it's like the entity is deciding which players are gonna benefit
Yeah.
it the most. And it's like, is it Tom Cruise or is it Gabriel, who's another like powerful
Right.
leader or whatever? I like that stuff. It's interesting. I think it just like drags it and gets kind of lost in it throughout.
Yeah. No, I definitely see those arguments. This moved up on the list for me though after rewatch again.
Nice,
So
nice. And this one is the cruciform key.
yes,
Physically, I think it might be the best item. Like just on a
look
visual,
wise,
yeah.
okay.
But at
I
the same
mean,
time,
it's a
it's
cruciform MacGuffin for our Jesus Christ Tom Cruise to Harry.
true.
So
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. And it's his key that he literally has to
yeah,
unlock something with. I think it's literally just like like looked at too many times on screen. Like people are
yeah,
like just amazed with it at all times, and it's just like I don't know, too much for me.
makes you want it though, right?
It does.
I
It's
mean,
cool.
yeah,
It's cool.
you can hang it on a necklace, maybe steal it,
Yeah.
put it on a necklace for your mistress. Who
It's yeah.
knows?
It's right. It's like the best. What is it? Like a friendship bracelet or like a
Yeah,
necklace you
there
would
you
get. You
go.
know, like yeah.
Yeah.
Really cool.
It's like those two
Um,
hearts that you combined when you were with your
exactly.
friends on your yeah, there you go.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, we've already talked Final Reckoning. I'm gonna just run through my quick ranking of the
Okay.
films. I think. Give me one sec. Yeah, I have at the bottom Mission Impossible 3, and I have it at 2.5 stars. Just did not like this one on rewatch. And then I have Dead Reckoning. Just I think it's kind of like lost in the sauce, and it's after Fallout. It just like kind of doesn't. I don't know. I wish it did a little more for me.
Hard coming after that one to be
Yeah,
honest.
100%.
Yeah.
Then I have Mission Impossible 2. Although I really, this is where like things I'm like not mad really about any of these rankings. So you
Yeah.
know, can't complain. then Mission Impossible 1, then Ghost Protocol. These are all 3.5 stars, by the way. Yeah. Like I said, underappreciated. I could see it going higher. Um, then I have the newest one, Final Reckoning, 4 stars. I think I'd like it more. I don't know.
Hell
Then I
yeah,
have
hell yeah.
Rogue Nation, and then obviously Fallout.
Nice. Do you want me to list off mine as well, or?
Yeah, what you got?
Two is my number eight. Two and three can be switched, but at eight I have Mission Impossible 2. Again, I think this is my third review of it on Letterbox where I just said it's honestly not that bad. So it isn't. I don't get the hate.
Yeah,
It's fun. Turn it on. It's a 2000s movie. Just enjoy. Okay?
100%.
Turn your brain off. Sit there and enjoy. Then Mission Impossible 3, I think I liked it less this rewatch, and this one is the only one where I felt like it overstayed its welcome.
Mm.
And I feel like maybe it's just the shaky cam of it all that just made the pacing drag ass a little bit.
I think so.
And then I have so those Mission Impossible 2 I have at 3 stars. 3 I have at 3.5. And then now the rest are in 4.5 stars up into the top two. So 4.5 is Mission Impossible, the first one. I think this movie has potential to be a 5-star movie just for the
Okay.
sheer gravitas of it all. I mean, it
Yeah.
started something great here, and it still holds up. I mean, it's entertaining as hell. So,
It does.
and see, this is one I struggled 5 and 4. So I have the Final Reckoning at 5. Again, these are all 4.5 stars still.
Right.
I have Final Reckoning at 5, and then Rogue Nation at 4. And I feel like depending on my mood, I could flip flop these. It's just in terms of rewatchability, which is what like I weigh this scale on heavily. I just feel like I won't just turn on the Final Reckoning unless I'm rewatching them from start to finish. But like Rogue Nation, I'll probably turn on more than I would Final Reckoning. So
I
that was
agree
my
with that.
justification for that.
Yeah.
Then I have Dead Reckoning at number 3. It weaseled its way up because I had
That's crazy.
Dead Reckoning at 4.
Okay.
And then 5 stars for Ghost Protocol at number 2 and Fallout at number 1.
So you just can't deny the quality of Fallout then, even compared to your childhood
Oh,
like love
yeah.
of
It's
Ghost
just
Protocol.
Fallout, seeing that in theaters and the Halo jump and the lightning strike and then leaving theaters and like going back, bringing friends back to be like, come watch this, God damn it, and watching it like 4 times in the theaters. There's only been like one other movie I've done that with, and it's Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, to where I just like couldn't get enough of it in theaters. So
Nice.
it's just something special about it.
All right.
And that's the one I will turn on the most of just like I mean
Yeah.
Ghost Protocol I've seen the most, but Fallout is the one where I'll be like, if I want to watch a Mission Impossible movie and I have time for one, I'm gonna put on Fallout.
Yeah, you can just put that on and be hooked.
Yeah.
It just won't
Yeah.
like fail you. Yeah. Okay, so got through all the movies. Let's get
Yes.
into some of the most glorious moments in the Mission Impossible franchise, which is the stunts.
This is what it's all about.
Yes, yes. Let me pull this up. Okay, you can see the tier maker still, right? You good?
I can't this time.
Oh shit. Let me try to share it.
Whatever you did the first time. There we go. Now I see it.
All right. Yeah, let me grab this. So, what are we judging this on? We're going to be factoring in, obviously, multiple different things, but I would say like creativity, execution, the actual risk for like insurance to like cover something like this, like whether
Right.
another stunt person would do it, the danger level, and then of course it's just like vibes at the end of the day, right?
Right. And I don't think we have very many of the driving sequences on here necessarily, do we? I
Not
think we
as
have a
much.
couple.
Yeah, we tossed in a couple. I think we dug into it as specific as we could without
Yeah.
just becoming like maniacs about like each
Right.
shot, you know, like because there's a lot of like
Definitely.
little stunts in between all these stunts, and maybe with some are like bigger sequences overall too that were kind of just like factoring together.
Hmm.
But the major ones, we got most of the major ones, I'd say. I assume what we do here today will be used as like research for the academy when they decide how to judge stunts in 2027. They're gonna look at this video and they'll be like, "Well, what are they saying about
Yeah.
this stunt?"
Let's see what their rankings are. Does that say Ben Stiller? What the?
Right. Well, how are we gonna use that one? Yeah. So should we break these down? How do we break down these tiers? You want to give it a go?
Yeah, so Mortal Man, the way I see it is obviously we're on sound stages here. This is nothing like super life. It's something I would do. Like I would jump off my couch, you know?
Hmm.
I would jump off my couch onto my beanbag. I mean, I do that for my kids for a laugh. So yeah, that's where I would put this category. Nothing special. Then we have Ben Stiller, not really a stuntman, but a fake stuntman would do this, right? So it's just one tier above. We're on the sound stages. We're maybe jumping off some things. Maybe not too high yet. Maybe getting some things thrown at us. Um, then we have stuntman, which now we're jumping off taller things, right? Or we're climbing up things, and insurance is like we can't really cover Tom Cruise yet. He hasn't proven himself as a star. Um, but now we're into deity, right? So deity is obviously half god. So we're at a point now where insurance companies have bowed down. They're willing to cover Tom Cruise, right? A leading man. And now we're doing stuff that's actually life threatening, but we can't be killed because we're Tom Cruise. And then operating Thetan. This is the top level of the Scientology community for all of the Scientology heads out there. There, I believe, are 8 tiers of Thetan. I don't know. I
Did the
I
research.
tried to get into it and it's just got in the weeds. Like there wants to be like a level 10 at this point, and I just didn't want to take the time to get that much lore. But clearly, this is the one where we are risking everything for your entertainment,
Yeah.
and that's what it's all about.
He's
It's also just
vibrating.
like, what's the most jaw-dropping shit that has
Yeah.
happened?
We're gonna
Where
have to
you're just,
find a balance between our takes, which is gonna be tough because I feel like I'm gonna
yes,
have to talk you down
yeah,
in
probably.
rank overall, just because I want to
I
get like a wide net in the scale
right.
of each of the franchise. You know.
I think what really helped me like bring me back down to earth was watching that 2 hours of behind the scenes for each movie, just to
Yeah.
show like some of these stunts were like mixed with practical with soundstage.
Yeah, for sure.
So
You're gonna be the background, I'd say, on all the technical stuff because I didn't get to
yeah,
dig into that, but it's nice that we have that. And I think we're just gonna go through as they occur in order in each film.
yes,
So, without further ado, should we jump into this?
let's do it.
Okay, so I mean, first in my estimation is the fish tank explosion, right? That's where everything
Yes.
pops off.
And this one, Tom Cruise actually did do the running. They built this whole set of fish tanks. So like this is all real water, and when it blows up, it's actually blowing up, and it's actually Tom Cruise. And like when they were doing it, obviously they had one take to do the explosion.
Uh-huh.
So like there was a stunt man that they had to pull through the window and like land on a mattress or whatever they used, and
Mm-hmm.
Tom Cruise jumping over him as the water's coming. So
Oh,
I
okay.
would say that it's not life threatening, but like it was still kind of cool because this is in 1994.
It
So
is
like
cool. I like watching it back. I feel like you get a little bit of like he's jumping and the water kind of catches the tail end of
yeah,
him in a way that's like
yeah.
a bit silly. It's cool. We have to find a good like level here,
Hmm.
like because I'm also just kind of judging it on like quality overall. I don't know if that's what you're trying to factor in too,
Yeah.
but like
Yeah, I could factor in quality.
okay, like so this to me looks like it's a stunt man, but that's
Really.
what do you think?
Wow. Okay, I was gonna say Mortal Man because the way I'm
Oh
seeing it
fuck.
is I would do this for my kids, right? I would say to throw something behind me that's gonna blow up and I'll run, you know?
Yeah.
So like
I
the
mean, you
only
got
thing that
water
elevates
flush
it,
like coming at you though, but it's
yeah,
not that threatening though. That's true.
right. But he did say Tom did say when they were doing it, he had to go right on three because they blew it up like instantly.
The timing.
Otherwise, he'd get just done. So maybe you're right. Maybe it is better than a Mortal Man.
Should we go Ben Stiller with that one then? I think that would
I'm
be
thinking Ben Stiller,
okay. I'm
personally.
down with that. It's good, but it's not like we're not
Yeah.
into the crazy shit.
This is just him dipping his toes in the water, if you will.
Hey,
Yeah.
hey, hey, hey.
Um,
Okay. Well, I mean,
but
next one. This is
yeah.
gonna be the iconic fucking shot. This is like the Langley bungee, right?
Yep. Yep. Shows up in multiple different movies after this. I
Mm,
mean, falling down something on a rope.
yeah, definitely. I mean, this one plays out for a long time, which is like it's like a full scene, which is
Hmm.
nice.
Yeah.
And I think like the imagery of like the tension that you feel when you can't put your feet on the ground is so
Yeah.
unnatural in a way that makes this one like really shine.
Yeah.
Is the stunt that crazy? Not for most of it, but I would say when you get to the final like little drop and he's doing like the fucking like,
Yeah.
this is good. It sells it 100%.
Yeah. No, it definitely does, and I think what elevates this more in terms of like it's not really dangerous like we've mentioned, but like he is actually doing it, and he did hit the floor a couple times because they do actually just drop him, and
Right.
they have to like catch him, and he has to balance.
Yeah,
So
you got to
like
hit it like 6
right,
inches or less, like
right,
yeah.
and when he does do that balance, that's like real reaction. So like he didn't know they were gonna keep that take when he did
Yeah.
it. So
Okay.
like
I
that's
mean
really
just
him struggling to
right, you can see like the strength it would take to just like
yeah,
to not touch. Yeah.
right.
And then a little bead of sweat. But that sequence is so great. I mean, obviously
It's
that's
so
what
good.
like sets off the
Yeah.
series in a way. But a lot of trust in that stunt for sure about like
Hmm.
the drop level. And I also made a little note on this that there's a little 2001 Kubrick energy in this one, little imagery.
Do do you want to? So the guy who did the Death Star set made this set for them.
Really? Whoa,
Yes.
that's cool.
Yep. That's what they wanted the look and feel of like sci-fi.
You're in like a
You know.
space, yeah, spaceship.
Right.
Yeah, hell yeah.
So
I mean,
yeah,
okay, what would you want to put this one at then?
this one I'm thinking stuntman. I don't see a lot of actors building up like the concentration and the ability to like control their bodies enough to do this or want to just, you know, do that.
You got to be a
The only
level above
problem,
for sure.
right. The only problem with stuntman is it would be hard to do a stuntman for this one. I think you would have to be the actor, right?
Right, you can't fake it. You can't like I, but like deity though, like because I mean the
Too
shit gets
high.
fucking outlandish in the next
Right.
one, so it's like hard to even. I think stuntman is like you can do that, you can achieve this, but you
Yeah.
do need to put in the effort. You know,
Right.
you like that?
I
All
agree.
right, cool.
Yes, I'm satisfied with that. It's deity's too much because we're
It
not
is,
really
yeah.
risking much. You
I
know, a
feel that.
broken rib maybe.
Hmm. Okay,
But then
final
again,
one.
no,
Did he get
sorry.
did he get injured
Yeah,
or?
I mean, he broke his ribs in Rogue Nation, but
Oh,
like
okay, okay.
that was actually like life threatening. So it's
Yeah.
different
I
than
wonder. I mean, do you
having
have all the
broken ribs.
injuries? Like, there's quite a few, right, or at least a couple.
I know in Rogue Nation he broke a couple ribs doing the stuff for the plane. I know that in obviously Fallout he broke his ankle.
Yeah, that's a big one.
In what was the other one? I want to say there was something in two. Or maybe it was actually this one when he hit the oh no, it was in three when he blows the shockwave and he blows into the car. He broke some ribs doing that as
Dang,
well. Yeah.
fuck. Yeah, that's hey, putting the body on the line.
Hell yeah.
Okay, so the final sequence in the first one. This one we kind of questioned should is this really stunt based? But I would say it has enough DNA in there, which is like the helicopter train tunnel sequence.
Yep.
I mean, just on a note, overall note, this one took me by surprise on how much I really liked this scene. I would say it's a little bit hokey and
Hmm.
like it doesn't feel like visually like perfect. I
No.
don't know, but you can see the wind on Cruz's face, like the hair. He's actually getting at least fans, high level
Right.
fans blown at him, But
Definitely. And what really like made this elevates it a little more is you could see Tom Cruise just wanting to like put in a little extra effort because they
yeah,
were just gonna do all the, obviously CGI, but he wanted his hair to blow and he wanted to actually show the force of like what it might be on a train. So like he had them bring in like the jet engine uh fans to be like,
okay,
let's get this actual force of wind happening.
yeah,
Everything else was obviously scale modeled,
okay.
but
I mean, some of the train stuff though, they it sells pretty well. That like they, I mean, he's moving around the top of a
right.
train type set
Yeah,
or whatever it is. So like,
definitely.
it's got some of it, some of the bones. Um, I don't know. This one's kind of tough. What do we do with this one?
I would say it's anywhere between Mortal Man and Ben Stiller, but I'm
Yeah,
feeling Mortal Man personally.
really, not like just there's too much cheese, too much fakeness in it. Just doesn't
I
got
think yeah,
the
just the scale model of it all and the fact that it is a still train. Like
yes.
I appreciate what they did with it, and I appreciate the extra effort that went into making it
Mm.
feel like something special and something dangerous, but overall it really wasn't that
No, you're right.
crazy.
Yeah, you're right. It's fake. It's too fake. Too much. Too much movie magic in it.
Right, right.
Okay. Now moving into Mission Impossible 2, we got quite a few stunts. Some pretty good
hmm
ones, I'd say.
This
The
is
first one.
when John Woo says Tom Cruise is crazy several times in interviews, you know Tom Cruise is crazy.
Yeah.
So,
John Woo's telling you. Yeah. I mean, the intro one, the free solo cliff climbing, right?
yep.
Okay? I do have questions like, how real is this? Do you know?
Yes, I do know. I know that Tom Cruise was free soloing. He was attached to wires. So but he was doing the climbing. The only time that there was an insert of a stunt double was when he slides off and he falls and he slides down the mountain and he kind of like falls off the edge and then grabs.
Mm-hmm.
So that part where he's sliding off, insurance companies wouldn't cover him. So they had to put a stunt double in for that because it was too dangerous. But that's actually him hanging by two hands. So like there's no like CGIing face. It's
Yeah.
just that one sliding sequence that was a stunt double.
Okay. I
Yeah.
mean, visually, it's insanely striking. Like,
Oh, it's all practical. Like
right.
he's
I feel
actually
like
doing yeah.
wires or something like, he's on wires for every stunt.
Oh,
You have to
yeah.
accept that. So, like,
Right.
you can't just be like, well, yeah, he's on wires. It's like, oh, no shit.
Yeah.
Like, but the way it sells and, like, the level of danger, I mean, he's still on the fucking side of a fucking
Oh,
cliff.
absolutely. And it was freezing cold temperatures, and he's like
Oh,
actually climbing with his bare paws, and he's
right.
doing that jump. And like, there's a helicopter filming from one angle that's like got to be at a certain distance because that's just how it has to be in focus. So like,
Right.
there's all kinds of factors playing into this, and Tom Cruise is just willing to do this over and over again.
Hmm.
So,
This
but
feels, I
like, and they
guess, like,
said,
yeah, go ahead.
oh, he did that jump like 5 different times from one to the other. So like, he's just constantly doing these things, and
Yeah, he
obviously he
wants to
loves
keep
it.
doing
So.
it. Yeah. This does feel like, I guess, the first example then of like big scale stunt,
Yeah.
on epic lensing, I guess. But
Yeah,
because, like,
no, I would agree.
yeah, because the first one, I mean, you have that iconic moment with the drop, but it is all still very contained in the set. So, I mean, this one, I'm leaning like deity, but I could see even the top of the top. I don't know what you're thinking.
I think Deity is like the perfect place for this, just because. Actually, I don't know, because free soloing on that is kind of crazy. I know we're taking the wires out of it. We're erasing the wires like they do in
Right.
post production. So
Right.
let's do that.
Right. So, like, on the side of a cliff, it's like I'm trying to compare with some of the other ones too. I feel like I don't, should we just we can move them around at the end too, but like
Okay,
I
yeah, we
I
can
can
move
see a
it later,
huge
maybe.
argument for this up there. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Next up, Bungee into the facility. This one is like a clear like harken to the first
hmm
thing. This I would say like the blending of the visual effect with the real stunt is not great. It's not
No.
terrible. The image itself, he's not as low to the ground. I understand like the launch and jump is faster, so you gotta like you can't
Right.
just go like 6 inches. It's got to be where it's at here. It's like a few feet or whatever.
Yeah,
I don't know. What do you think? This one's a cool image. Like I like the image
it
here,
is.
but
And the behind the scenes makes this stunt a lot cooler. It is a soundstage, and I think it's like 80 feet up or something. And he's actually
okay.
stopping himself and doing the work for it. So like he
Hmm.
has to do the the work and like time it right. So I feel like that elevates it just a little bit,
Yeah.
but still the soundstage of it all just kind of like I don't know.
It's a bummer too, because like with the hatches and whatnot, it's a bit, or like you said, like early thousands. Like that works enough, right?
Yeah,
It looks good. We've never seen anything that looked that good, and now we're
right.
20 years later. It's like, oh. But then the danger level, he's jumping in. But it's not even like I feel like there's more danger in the original Bungee because you're like
I agree.
closer to the ground. So like,
And there's no like he's jumping in above a padded like
right? I mean,
cushion to land on.
right, exactly. Okay. What do you think here? I mean, I could see Stuntman, but I could also see like Ben Stiller.
I was thinking Ben Stiller
Yeah.
because I don't think any normal casual is gonna do that. Is gonna just throw his body off of something that's like 80 feet tall. I think it was like four
Mm-hmm.
stories or something. I might be getting this in some of the third Mission Impossible movies confused, but I'm pretty sure this one was the four-story one that he just kind of jumps.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay, so should we try to argue between like each like this one and the fish tank jump? Which one would you say is
I
more
would
impressive?
I would
This one?
say yeah. I think it
Okay.
has to be just because the fish tank jump is cool in retrospect, but it's just not that crazy.
Okay. Agree. Next up, the fucking motorcycle duel at the end of two. This is a
Hell
this is
yeah.
a sequence for sure. But there's like some driving through the fire. There's some
hmm
hitting
hmm
people with the bike and shit. Like he's like tail whipping with the bike. And then there's the like chicken sequence where they launch
Yes.
and hug in the air
Yep. Yep.
with the
Yep.
bikes. What do you think about this one? This one's the most stylized, I'd say, unnaturally, but
Yes. So similar to the last one, watching the behind the scenes kind of took away some of this for me because
oof.
I guess I'm just spoiled with later on um the motorcycle sequences that are like actually him riding it is actually him, but it's on a track. Like the motorcycles are on
Uh,
tracks. So
hmm.
like it's buried tracks in the ground so that way they like track with each other.
So they're
Um
not like actually moving on the ground. The ground's moving them, or what? Or they just
see
have
that's what
like
I
a
couldn't
track laid out that they
understand.
can drive on.
They have a track that the wheels run in, so they stay on that track.
Okay, yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, but and it's similar to like even before that when he's riding the motorcycle and he's using it as a shield, it's being pulled behind a truck. So like it's Tom Cruise doing these things still
They're
at 50
cheating
miles
it.
per hour,
Mm-hmm.
but they're using little cheat codes here and
I
there.
see.
Um, I will say they do actually launch them at each other, which is cool. I mean they're on so
On
I feel
wires or
like
whatever, right? Yeah.
right. And
There's a
they
lot of
pull them
wire
at the
stuff.
last minute away from each other so they don't actually collide, but it's
Yeah,
still kind of
smart.
cool that they threw each other at each other.
Yeah, it works. I mean,
Um,
I like this sequence a lot.
yeah.
Like, I'm not gonna lie, it kind of like sold for me. But I'm trying to separate myself from the sequence and this actual stunt work too, because there's some.
hmm
I'm picturing the jump of the motorcycle that looks like it literally comes at a straight line to the ground with no like
hmm
launch. It's very stylized, and some of the
Yeah.
moments are kind of goofy. I mean, you got the like four fucking shot like gun turn in the sequence,
Yeah.
like so. Hmm. I mean, we're in Ben Stiller and Mortal Man territory, right? I would assume,
Yeah.
but
I would say Mortal Man personally.
really, you think it's on the level of the first film there, where he's like, it's all soundstagey cheating.
Just the track of it all. I don't know. It
Yeah,
just
that's tough.
he's not actually like driving the motorcycles. Like he has no control over where the motorcycle goes. It goes straight. It's its
Mm.
only option. And I know it's taken away in post, but I don't
He
know.
drives through real fire,
He does.
like
He does drive through fire.
it's all, obviously very staged, but
And I know when he does the Indo spin gun shoot thing, he's actually doing those things. Like he's on the bike and he's
right.
doing these things.
I'll go Mortal Man. It's definitely
Okay.
better than this one, but
Yes. It's it's upper tier Mortal Man.
okay,
I'll say that.
cool.
Yeah.
And the final one for Mission Impossible 2, this is one I didn't even really realize until you brought it up, which is the knife to the eye during the fight sequence at
Yeah.
the end. This
So
is
yeah,
where
this one he
this one's
just
kind of talking about with like the strengths of the second one, where it's like John Woo's filmmaking is like you can't deny that this will last forever in a
right.
visceral way on screen, and I mean, as you like told me more about it, I kind of like am feeling the danger of this one building in a
Oh
way.
yeah. And like they didn't have to do this. That could be CGI'd easily,
Right.
right? But Tom Cruise is like, no, no, no. Let's build a contraption and drop the knife, and I'll just hold my eye open, and he does, and it's like millimeters away
So
from his
it's
eyeball.
like
So
just like a on a string or what, or like
yep,
on
it's on a
like a
string, and
drop.
it has like a thing where the knife has its like second safety, to where like if it was to fall off the string, it would be caught. but it's he has to hold his eye open as this is falling towards him.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, no, I mean if you watch it, there's a couple shots because like he cuts between a couple different angles. This one on
hmm
the image is fucking terrifying. But there's
yeah,
also some where he's like above Tom Cruise and he's got the knife still kind of
right,
like shaking toward it, and I'm like, dude, this is like all trust and
right,
like it's obviously not like life or death in a way, but the stakes are clear. They're very
definitely,
clear here.
yeah.
So I mean, it's on a rig. I was wondering if it was like a stunt person that he was really trusting next to his eye, because
That
that's fucking
I
sketch.
Yeah, if that was the case, this would be probably a Thetan here, because like I would not trust anybody to hold a steady knife that far away from my eye or
Yeah,
that close to
100%.
my eye
Yeah,
for an
exactly.
extended period of time.
So it's on a rig. I mean, it's still scary as fuck. You could lose vision
Yeah,
for the rest of your
right.
life. You know, like
Like he's
no
still
stuntman.
he's a young man, his whole life ahead of him here still.
Would you say that this is above the cliff climbing
No,
sequence? No.
something about heights. Like thinking back to this cliffs, maybe I didn't talk about it highly enough when we were talking about it here and questioning it, but just because the stuntman of it all that actually was there. But that cliff stunt is just crazy. I mean,
Yeah.
I wouldn't do it. So
Okay. It's just the lower stakes in
yeah,
general for this one. So
still
can't be argued.
dangerous, still fucking cool.
Yeah.
Um,
That shit
but
is
yeah,
wild. Yeah, that's cool. Okay. Mission Impossible 3. I would say that these are maybe some of the weaker stunts in general.
oh my god. And you would think so. Watching the behind the scenes, the bridge thing, right? They built this bridge. They constructed the entire bridge so they can blow it up because they can't stop traffic on the real one. And they have the budget for that. But when he's jumping from skyscrapers, they put it on a soundstage and a bunch of green screens. Like we
Okay.
can't do this on location. This one
I,
was the hardest one for me to pick stunts that I was kind of like, ooh, this is cool. Um,
I mean, the only image that I was like, I knew from the third film is that bomb going off, him kind of getting shockwave blasted,
right. Yeah.
which is good. And then that parachute sequence, no, I don't know. It's just
Yeah.
so blurry. But all right,
It's
bridge
so
sequence
bad.
first. Yeah.
Yeah.
This one, it's very extended, and he does a couple like jumps,
hmm
and shit like that. A couple like in between cars movements, and then obviously this shockwave explosion. But
Yeah.
I mean, what do you got? You got any like good behind the scenes tidbits on this one that's gonna bump it
Honestly,
up?
besides them building the bridge, like when you said that we reconstructed the entire bridge, I was like, now that is fucking impressive because I would never tell. And then they did when they were doing the action shots on it, they filmed it in a way that they wouldn't see water, so they didn't have to like CGI in any water
Hmm.
if necessary. So like they had the practical shots where they could film on a bridge, and then so on and so forth.
I see.
So that behind the scenes was cool. And then obviously he broke some ribs because they actually do throw him on the car. Um, but yeah, other than
But it's
that,
just like a
no.
wire getting pulled, I assume, into the
Yeah, like he's
car.
running and they just yank him and he
Got some padding
hits
and
the
shit.
car.
This to me is like I'm looking at like Ben Stiller at the top with the dive, and like that's more impressive than that bridge sequence for me. Maybe I'm wrong, but
I'm with you. I think as much as this is like ingrained in my memory as like I fondly look at this, I would probably put this at the top level of Mortal Man.
really, yeah.
That's
I
what I
mean,
would
he's
say.
he's pulling his body. He's
Yes.
putting the body on the line. So okay, I'm down for that. And then this parachute sequence, I don't know, man. Like I like the initial fall, like he's like falling off the roof, which is like
Yeah.
that feels like a good Tom Cruise stunt, and then it just becomes like
It's just the
cartoon
TV
territory.
look of it all that like makes this feel like it has no stakes. I don't
Yeah,
know. It's pretty bad
it's
this
pretty bad. Yeah.
sequence.
There's no like distinct like the roof falling off the roof is like the most distinct moment because then the parachute. I like how he like crashes and then gets sucked out again, but like
Yeah,
there's nothing tangible in that scene to really
right.
sink your teeth
Watching
into.
this time around too, I was like, did Michael Mann help with some of these action sequences? Because this feels like a Michael Mann movie where it's just throw the camera around, explosions,
Yeah,
sparks.
the
I don't
lighting
know.
in that scene too could be kind of Michael Mann-esque for
Yeah.
sure. So
Uh,
this one, I mean, Mortal Man.
yeah, definitely. I would put it above. Actually, I would put it at the bottom of the list personally.
Really?
I think the train sequence is more entertaining.
I mean, 100%. I agree with that. I guess
The
like the
only difference
technical
is
stuff, like, is what
like he's actually jumping out of like another 4-story jump for him.
for the parachute stuff.
Yeah,
So he
it's
jumps
just
out with like a parachute and then pulls the cord, or like what's the?
no, like it's all green screen,
Yeah,
and it's like the which one was it?
like a bungee shit, or like what's the?
So it's like the second one where he jumps out of that building. It's
Yeah,
like that. It's very
I
similar
guess.
to that whole setup, but
Okay,
it's all green screen, like no real city shit.
right. He's just on like wires, acting like there's a parachute above or
Yes,
whatever. And
exactly.
yeah,
Yeah,
okay. Yeah, I can. I kind of like this one more too. Just even the air cannons
yeah,
feel a little more real. So
agreed.
cool. Out of three into Ghost Protocol, which there's only one real major stunt,
Yeah,
right?
and this is where he does it finally.
Yeah, it's a fucking Burj Khalifa. So
The behind the scenes on this is crazy. So it was before the Burj Khalifa was even finished,
yeah,
and they had to get like permission to go in there and to take out windows. And he took out, I think it was, I can't remember the exact number. I think it was like 27 windows when it all came down to it. They're like, we need 2 windows gone. But then he was like, well, we have to get this camera rig out. We have to get this camera rig out.
yeah.
And this is when they started filming an IMAX film. So all the cameras are extra heavy,
Damn.
and they had to refill the film cartridges constantly because it can only film so much because it's such a big film format.
Yeah.
So this one was just kind of like, this is insane what they're doing for
Yeah,
this moment. So, and
That's
then
true.
the safety line, everybody had to be on a safety hook because the Burj Khalifa people were like, we can't have all these windows gone and everyone just walking around. So you had to be like harnessed in at all times. And
Jesus, yeah.
yeah, very cool.
It's amazing. I guess like my only real argument for like trying to talk it down a little bit is like,
Yeah.
is it similar to what is happening in two, where he's kind of just climbing with designated climb sections that he's kind of on. Obviously, it's
Definitely.
the face of a building and shit,
Yes.
but
I would say the only thing that rises this a little bit above that would be the fact that like he jumps out of the building and sprints down the building in like
it's
sort of
true.
a free fall.
Yeah,
And then he swings around as well. So like
yeah,
I feel like
there's
there's
a
just
little
more
more.
like putting your trust in the hands of whatever almighty Tom Cruise believes in.
Hmm.
I don't know.
So you want to go operating Thaden or what?
I feel like if we stick him at the top of, so there's one that I want to put in Thetan that I think will surprise. So I don't want to like just overload it now. So
Okay.
talk me off. I think this is top of deity.
Yeah, I mean, we still don't have any here too, so we haven't hit the moment. So let's just put it here, I guess, and then if we feel like we need to like snowball up or whatever,
Yeah, yeah,
we can do that.
definitely.
Yeah, great sequence. I love how it's like blue is blue, red is dead. It's just like so
Yeah,
simple and understandable and great.
very, very. Harkening back to the first one, where what does he say about the gum? Where he snaps it and he says, "Hasta." Shit, I wish I remembered what.
Yeah, just like very digestible info for the
Right.
sequence. It's just like easy.
Hasta la vista, don't get me on you. Hasta lasagna, don't get me on you. That's what he
Ah,
says.
nice.
Yeah,
There we
there it
go.
is.
Okay, on to Rogue Nation. And I mean,
Here we go.
the first 5 minutes of the
Yep.
movie, I would say
Kick us off.
proves itself. It proves the entire film. Like you don't have to do
Yeah.
anything else after that. But I I don't know. Is this the best stunt?
In the whole series?
I I'm putting the question out there.
In the whole series, the best stunt. Oh,
Yeah.
that's tough. No.
No.
I think the Halo jump is the best stunt in the whole series.
Wow. Really? Okay. I just feel like with the Rogue Nation, like the hanging on the plane, the camera angle that it has is
Yeah.
like you can't deny like the truth of like the situation and the distance and the stakes of like the rise.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I don't know. I just love this stunt. I think it's operating Theta no matter what. I'll say that.
I agree. I 100% agree on that, but I misspoke. I think the best stunt, if we're counting it as a stunt, is the helicopter sequence just because of what went into it.
Yeah.
But if we're talking individual Tom Cruise doing stuff, Halo jump. But yes, I agree. I think this is operating Thetan for sure.
For
I
sure.
mean, the dude is. This is where he finally is just like, I'm gonna put my life on the line. He straps himself to a plane. I mean, they talk to Airbus, Airbus military people to build the plane for this because they have to rig cameras to it. They have to be
Yeah.
able to, you know,
Safely hook him
take
in.
off with crews and have him safely in there. And if you know, they
Yeah,
made
what's
special
like
contacts for him so he can keep his
right.
eyes open. So
Yeah.
just
This is like
and
tapping
he couldn't
into
see with the contacts in either. So like
you
he
can
had to
tell he's
get
just
to
like
his
trying to
marks.
put his face like to
Yeah.
the camera. Like he's like get my face in there. I think it's just like the great stunts like tap into the like what if mentality with like the
Yeah.
Burj Khalifa. It's like what if I could climb that building, you know? And this one's
Yeah.
like what if I could hold on to a plane as it's fucking taking off? Like
Yeah.
that's just like the great shit right there.
Definitely.
I
And
would say
Cruz even says that where he's like, you ever just looked out a window and thought, what if I was on the plane wing? And like
yeah,
that's what
right.
inspired him to do this.
That
So
was
like
indeed.
hats off.
Yeah, I would say masterclass stunt, one of the top three, if not top for me. So
Yeah,
next
definitely. I mean,
up,
it's this was what sold the movie way back when Rogue Nation
yes,
when it was
that
coming out.
image,
Like, yeah.
100%.
So
Another in Rogue Nation, not as like you don't just like see it, but you have to kind of like buy into the danger, which I did, which is the breath holding
definitely.
dive.
Yeah.
Maybe the most like actually technically impressive stunt. I don't know. What do you think?
It yeah, no, it cuts away from Tom Cruise multiple times while he's doing it. You know, it cuts up to Ilsa and it cuts to Benji. But like when they filmed it, actually filmed it, it was a one take thing. Like he did it all in one take. So he's holding his breath for 6 minutes and whatever, however long it takes.
Yeah.
And they're doing it all in one take. He's hitting his marks. He's making the faces, you know.
I
So
wish
I
they
think
kind of like played it as a one take on
I
honestly.
know, I
So then
know.
you
And
could
when
buy
I
into the
learned that it
tension
was
more.
one take, I was like, damn, they should have just done it.
They should have
But
tried to. It'd be difficult,
yeah.
but I think to be able to like feel with no breaks the actual time,
Hmm.
that the breath is being held, that would have been really successful. I think like I buy into the danger though, just because like you can see that he is like actually like we even the chunks of time that we spend without cuts are long
Hmm.
enough that I'm like, yeah, that's fucking sucks.
Right.
I want to
Definitely.
breathe. Like, yeah. And I like
Yeah,
the
and like,
visuals.
oh yeah, definitely. It's very cool. It's another like Langley. It's just like a water version of the Langley heist,
Mm.
just kind of like a futuristic place where they keep floppy disks.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Nice. What did you say for this one for ranking?
I would probably just go stuntman with this one,
Really?
even though only one other person is able to hold their breath longer than Tom Cruise, which is Kate Winslet, supposedly.
Way of water, right?
Yeah,
I kind of am leaning deity for this one because, like, if it's true that he actually held the breath,
he did.
then
Yes, in one take.
that's
That's a good point.
something that no stuntman would actually choose to
That's
do,
a good
I'd
point.
say. You know?
And they did do special like training with the like Navy SEALs people and all that stuff.
Breathing
So
techniques and shit, or like
yeah,
non breathing techniques?
you're right. I would put it right before the eye stabbing and
Right
deity.
here? Or like right?
I would put it before that. Yeah,
Really? Okay. Yeah, I mean, just like that can fuck up your brain too if you like
right,
actually don't get the oxygen or whatever in
right.
time. So
There's a
like,
reason people are on CPAP machines. So like,
yeah,
it's like you need oxygen
yeah.
or else. So
That's what the scene's playing at. The tension. Nice. All right. Next, the motorcycle chase at the end of Rogue Nation. A couple motorcycle chases throughout the series, but
mhm.
this
I think
one,
there's two notable ones. This one and the one in the next one. But
yeah. Obviously, he breaks out the bike himself.
mhm.
Personally, like compared to all the other stunts, I don't find this one that impressive. I feel like
He's
we're
going like 100 and some miles per hour without a helmet.
I feel like we're just watching Tom Cruise on his commute to work every day in the
That's
sequence.
right.
Like
That's true.
he's just like leaning back and forth, just like doing his thing, like on his way. No, I
I will
understand it's
say,
like impressive though.
I see where you're coming from, and I will say the other motorcycle sequence is 10 times more impressive for me.
Really, I would like to hear more about that when we get to it.
Yes,
But
we'll get there.
for this one, I mean, I'd probably say stuntman then, right? Because he's put in the work,
I
he's put in
would.
the time,
Yeah, I would. I would say stuntman.
and I think
Yeah.
it's a little bit more
Yes,
technical than this one, right?
it is. I mean, he did have to get retrained on how to like turn properly and not like die.
Not fucking
And he
eat shit.
refused to wear a helmet.
I mean,
So
you got to see
the
that.
only
Got to see
thing
that face.
right in this one, the cars are CGI'd in after the fact. So
Ah, okay, that
yeah,
makes sense. Yeah, I mean, he's doing
so
some quick maneuvers, so yeah,
he
that
is.
makes
Yeah.
sense. I like where that's at then. Yeah, is
Yep.
what it is.
Agreed.
On to
Agreed.
Fallout. So we have the Halo jump. Give it to me.
I mean, he's doing 6 to 8 jumps a day to prep for this. Um, they say you need like hundreds, thousands to be like fully expertise. They created a special helmet for this fact so they could see Tom Cruise's face.
Yeah,
I mean, the cameraman, him and the cameraman, not only did the cameraman have to wear an IMAX camera on his helmet while falling, but they had to stay within 3 foot of each other to stay in focus.
mm.
So this
I
one
love
fucking
the
rules.
shot coming down into the camera.
Yep.
That's phenomenal. I would say
Yep.
once you hit the lightning patch, it becomes a cartoon a bit in a way for me. Like the things, like the stakes are lessened, and then
Hmm.
when you go cut through the clouds and the lightning, and he has to like get to Walker through the air. It kind of
Yeah.
like gets back to the level,
That's where it
and
gets
then
practical again. He like
right,
actually they like hit each other and they do those spins. So like they're
right.
actually doing that. Yeah.
Right. I like these like bits, and then the landing kind of harkens back to like the Mission Impossible 2 landing for me. It's a little clunky in ways.
Hmm.
So like I like this sequence. It's not my favorite sequence, so I'll say that.
Really. It, seeing this in theaters, I think, just really amplified this for me because when the sound just cuts out after the lightning strike,
Mm.
you just can't help but like sit up and be like, "Holy shit, we're
Yeah, like
doing
I'm
it!"
in this shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Uh,
like also like what's the difference between a halo jump and just like a standard parachute jump
well, this is
of
at
like
25,000 feet, so
it's
like you're
higher?
above. You can't breathe. You can't do like
Yeah.
yeah, super high. You're above clouds, and when you pull your chute, you're pulling it lower than normal as well. So like that's
I
the it's
see.
like Halo jump stands for high altitude, low entry or low open, something like that. I forget what they said exactly, but
But I guess like a stuntman or a person who can do jumping out of planes with parachutes. That's it's not like deity level for me, is what I'm trying to say. Because like it's just a jump.
I I see what you're saying.
Yeah, it's just the
And
height, the levels.
what's really convincing me as well is the fact that the cameraman had to also do this.
Yeah,
So
just like the level that it was caught at. But then it
yeah,
like there's cuts in between though, right? Like I don't know, man. We have
I
so many
see.
in
I see what you're
deity. I feel
saying.
like we're clogging this up.
I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. It is cool, and it is my favorite thing to watch.
Okay, I
Yeah.
think we
Okay.
should
Put it
move.
put it in stuntman. I think you're right. But I maybe put
Okay, if we put this here and we put this here, does that satisfy things? No? Makes it worse?
actually yeah, move that back up to Thetan
You
real
like that?
quick.
You like where that's
I
at?
kind of like that. I mean, it makes sense. I mean, would
I like it.
anybody else do that?
Yeah,
Has anybody else
just
climbed the
haven't.
Burj
Yeah.
Khalifa?
Okay,
Jumped out of it?
let's stick right here. If we need to move
Okay.
the Halo jump, we will.
The only other option I would say is move the knife down to stuntman and keep Burj Khalifa and deity. That would be my only thing
I see
that I
what
would
you're saying.
change.
Yeah.
But I would put the knife above the motorcycle.
I kind of get what you're saying because I feel like it should be Halo jump, then this, then. Is that
Yeah,
what you're saying, right?
that's
And
what I'm
then
saying. Yeah.
maybe this down here, maybe
Yes.
not. Let's do this.
That's
Let's do
what I
this right now.
think. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. That looks better. Yeah, for sure. Okay. Next up, rooftop run. Or no, I have motorcycle chase next, right?
So this is the one I really wanted to include this one because I know he's done motorcycle stuff a lot, but so they had to shut down that circle in Paris
Mm.
and they tried so hard and they kept saying no, we can't do it. But then they were given 2 hours to do it. And that was the only time they could do it. They were given 2 hours and the first hour was before the sun was even like in a good spot for lighting. So they had an
Yeah.
hour to do the shooting. And all the cars are moving. It's no CGI cars. It's Tom Cruise actually going against the grain of traffic. So this is like this shows me this is Thetan for me just because it's like the power Tom Cruise has to shut down this circle in Paris that no one else could shut down.
I see. Okay. I'm not gonna lie though, this one like I didn't even like clock this as like a stunt really. I
Oh,
kind of lumped it into like Rogue One's type of sequence, you know,
I
like
definitely understand that. It's just another motorcycle sequence. Just the behind the scenes really talked me into it being like, wow, this is kind
yeah,
of impressive that they had an hour to shoot this. An hour. Tom Cruise got this down in an hour.
yeah.
So
I don't know, man. You'd put this above Burj Khalifa?
yeah,
No way. That's got to be crazy.
not only because the power of shutting down and doing it in an hour.
But
You know how long
he just
these?
opened up 27 windows on the Burj Khalifa here. Like
It's
that's got to
true,
be
but the Burj Khalifa was still in construction when they were doing it, right?
yeah. But okay, but like think about this, like the stunt itself compared to like the shutting
Okay.
down of the area. Okay?
Okay.
I'm trying to talk you down off the cliff. I just
The
don't think this
stunt, it's.
deserves state.
I get
I
it.
don't know.
Yeah, I get it. The stunt itself, I would probably put it as stuntman. No, no, I take that back. I would put it on bottom of deity,
Right here.
just because he is actually going against the grain of traffic. Like those are cars are
Yeah.
actually going in like a normal speed, and
He's
he is as
moving
well.
like he's doing like turns in the streets and stuff.
Yeah,
Like it's clear no track. It's clear like
yeah.
on the fly. Okay. Are you okay with this? Is this okay?
I'm okay with it. I was excited behind the scenes because I'm like an hour to do
Yeah.
setup and just be like go and like it's basically like you got one shot to do this and they
Mm-hmm.
did it and it's fucking awesome. So yeah, I'm
I
alright
like the
with it. You
behind the
knocked me off the
scenes.
ledge.
I have to like focus on the stunts more, I
No,
think.
I get it. In the moment, watching it in the movie, not knowing what's happening, I got it. We're
Okay.
good.
Okay.
You
All
talked me
right.
off
Next
the
is the
ledge.
rooftop running then.
Yes.
This one is like the lore for the foot breaking, right? That's the scene.
Yes. This is where he broke his foot. They said he would never run again. And if he did run, it would never be the same. And it would take a year or so to recoup. He was back at it in 9 months running like never before.
Jesus Christ. This shot right here of like the one shot on the roof of him like going through the different modes and then into the
Hmm.
jump.
Yeah,
Fantastic. Phenomenal
definitely.
shit.
Like out of
Um
all the running sequences, I think this is the best. Besides maybe I love the shot at Dead Reckoning when he's on top of the airport. I thought that was really fucking
mm,
cool.
yeah,
But this
it's like
whole
going
running
down in
sequence
that
is good.
spiral. Yeah.
Yeah.
This one's fucking top tier running, 100%.
Oh, yeah.
As far as like stunt, like so when he jumped and hit the roof, is that when he breaks the foot, or is it just like on a
Yeah.
landing or one of these times, or like?
So you know the Spider-Man jump where he's like, "Oh," and he jumps across the first time and then I think it's the third jump where he jumps across and he hits the side of the building and hangs there.
Yeah.
His foot hits and breaks. And then he gets up and kind of limps. So it's like his ankle's broken there.
Dang.
And they left that taken.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, he just fucking like put it like for a
Yeah.
landing, shouldn't have landed on it like that.
And his response was, I felt something off in my ankle when I took off back running again. Like, oh, really? It was
Yeah.
broken. I would say so.
Yeah.
Uh,
What do you? I don't know. What do you think about this one?
honestly, I'm going to say Stuntman. The lore is cool and the sequence is cool, but he's just running.
Yeah. What do you think? I don't know. What are you thinking? This one. This one's kind of mid somewhere. I'd say.
I would say mid, I would say it's above the crotch rocket just because there is, yeah, like right there. That's where I would say. It's because there's no CGI. Like the crotch rocket, the
Yeah.
cars were CGI, so there's less at stake.
Okay. Cool. I like that. Then Fallout helicopter sequence into bunch of climbing on a rope and shit.
Uh, no, I don't think you could talk me out of this one. This is
uh,
one of the best action sequences of our time.
yeah,
I mean, he learns to pilot a helicopter. Not only pilot the helicopter, operate the cameras, hit his marks, talk, act. This dude is doing it all at this point, right? I mean,
no, this is for me. Yeah, this is better than this
hell.
hanging
Yeah.
100%. Like, the shots interior of the helicopter where you're like seeing what's happened, like undeniable. And then I
Yeah.
love like the hanging ball, the rope shit. He like
Mm-hmm.
falls down it, gets back up into the helicopter.
So good,
Yeah,
and he's
I
actually
agree.
doing all that shit. Like he falls, he takes the
All right.
plunge, you know. So
No, I agree that this is like potentially the best action sequence of our time.
yes,
Like no shit.
it's so good, and
Yeah.
like you would think it'd be like, oh, this is a little long in the tooth. It's not. It's like the whole time you're like, oh my god, this is
Even
insane. What's
even when
happening?
they go into like the crash and then like they're
Hmm.
fighting each other on the side of the cliff, I'm like, this is the best sequence of all time. Like this
Yeah,
fucking rocks.
it does absolutely. Which I didn't know if you wanted to add the him climbing back up the mountain, like he does it again. It's like a free solo ish thing again where he
Uh,
does, but I just didn't feel like I felt like it all encapsulates into that whole
it is.
sequence.
Like, I kind of just view it all as one. Yeah, one
Yeah,
amazing sequence.
yeah,
Okay, I
agreed.
mean, I'm glad we agree on that. It's undeniable, I'd say. Now
Yeah.
we're into Dead Reckoning. This is one that you wanted to kind of toss in. It's the close-up magic, right?
Yeah, this one was just funny because he insisted on learning close-up magic so it wouldn't be CGI. I just thought like
It,
only Tom Cruise would be like, "Let me do the magic."
yeah, he does a little close-up magic in the first one too. Yeah, it's
He
like a little.
does.
Yeah, it must be
He
something he
does.
kind of
Yeah.
likes. But I will say, like, it looks fake to me. So, like, if there
Really?
is no CGI when he throws the keys or like fakes, like and then they disappear, I'm like, I kind of think they just like edited those out. So, like, if
Hmm?
it's really real, then like,
As
good on him.
far as I know, it is real. That was the
Yeah,
big thing where it was like Tom Cruise had to learn the close-up magic this close to the camera shooting him and not fuck it up. So
yeah.
I just remember hearing about that and being like, of course he did. Why?
Okay.
I mean,
I
why
mean,
would he
if
do different?
if I buy it, I'd probably say above Stuntman into Deity. But what do you think
Really?
on
It's
this
that
one?
impressive magic for you, huh?
I mean, it's technical skill that's above most. But are you thinking like Ben Stiller or what?
I was thinking just maybe top tier above Halo jumping for
Oh, for
stuntman.
Stuntman. Okay,
Yeah, because I mean, I scrolling through YouTube Shorts, I see a lot of people doing magic. You know?
you can learn it. You can do
Yeah,
it. Do you think it's?
yeah.
Do you think it's like below Halo Jump?
You know what? That's a good point. Yeah, because Halo jump, not I don't see any YouTube Shorts on that. If I'm using that
Not a
as
lot of people Halo
comparison.
jumping on there.
No.
What about the
So yeah.
knife?
Okay. All right. Now we're getting into semantics here. I don't
Okay,
know.
okay, we'll leave it. We'll go there.
You're the one who liked the magic. You thought it was actually
It's imp-
CGI, so
it's
maybe.
impressive. I mean,
Yeah.
we'll go right here. We'll go right here for
All right.
now.
All right. All right.
All right. Next up, the handcuff chase. Bunch of different vehicles, ending with the yellow buggy sequence. This is one of my favorite sequences of that movie, I'd say.
Oh yeah. I mean, him losing control of the buggy is like I'm pretty sure a real thing because they said they souped up this Fiat and it was kind of had a mind of its own when they did soup it up.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I love when the yellow buggy stuff, the handcuff stuff is so fun. And when they're like going through the streets, I'm assuming he's doing the driving, maybe not,
oh yeah.
but
And like it's funny because it's like Tom Cruise has proven. I mean, there's stuntmen who say there's no one better than Tom Cruise for this driving sequence,
wow,
and like
okay.
he's like, okay, now let me do it with one hand. So
Right. And the
yeah,
other hand, yeah.
right, the
No, good
opposite
shit.
hand of where
Yeah.
the shifter is.
I love when they like flip around and then they like land in
Hmm.
the other seats.
Yeah, very good. A lot of
Would you
comedic
say
moments in this movie. A lot.
for sure?
Yeah,
Especially between her and or him and
yeah,
Haley
great
Atwell's
chemistry.
character. Yeah. And this is also like a James Bond reference. I think it's like Diamonds Are Forever. They have like a little yellow buggy in one of those movies.
Oh really?
So yeah, throwing it back. Stuntman?
You think stuntman?
What do you think?
I think the fact that I have this quote from a stuntman who said, where is it? The stunt coordinator told Simon Pegg that Tom Cruise will be doing all the driving because they didn't have a better driver than him. I think that puts him above the stuntman category for driving.
Okay, but also you got to think about people just saying this shit to build up like the movie, and
Okay,
like
but
there
there's
was
another
no
quote
stuntman that we could
from
have ever
the
called.
stuntman who said that stuntman drivers train their whole lives to do something that Tom does in that movie with hitting the 180 on his BMW
Hmm.
car. I'm just saying I think it's above stuntman.
Okay, we'll
I would
go
I would put it in
low
deity.
deity then.
Yeah,
This
I
one's
would.
better, right? Yeah, it's gonna be
I
a
mean, he's
little
doing
bit
it with one
more.
hand and he's cuffed to a woman. Not okay. Maybe I should a cuff to another
This is
person.
a tough situation, man. This is
so, so like I don't know.
I
It's just
get you.
kind of like
Fair enough.
the tension's
Fair enough.
there, the stakes are there.
You convinced me. Yeah. The way you phrased it, 100%. Okay. The mountain ramp. This is going to be maybe the most controversial one for me, and we might have to argue it out.
Okay.
I think this is one of the least impressive stunts in the series. I think it's above, like, obviously Mortal Man stuff,
hmm
but I just don't think it's got the juice. I don't know.
I see that argument, and I agree.
Oh,
I
let's
just
say it.
the hype leading up to it, they were like, it's
Yeah,
crazy what they did, and that was the craziest part of it. And then when they put it in the movie, I'm just kind of like, the sequence that follows with the train is cooler for me. I
that's
don't know.
fair. It's extreme. I mean, he's jumping off the cliff, but
Yeah,
again, it's like he just like is kind of just like opening a chute. Like does
right.
that's the end goal or end action of the scene is like
Yeah. I get you have to let go of the bike at a certain time. You have to get far
yeah,
enough away from the mountain. You have
yeah.
there's a lot that goes into it, but like there's a reason he was doing this also like 6 different times a day for God knows how long. So
Right. Yeah, the hype level too is just I don't know. Yeah, I agree with
yeah,
that. But like at the same time, no stuntman's really doing shit like this. So
exactly.
like
That was my next point would be like we could put it at stuntman, but I don't think any stuntman's doing it. I mean, they didn't even
yeah.
have a cameraman follow him like the Halo jump, right? So like
hmm They're like we're not
it's
going after
just
you, my guy. I mean, I would
yeah.
say low deity then, maybe mid
Yeah.
deity.
I'd put it low.
Yeah, probably
I
under
put it
this
right
one.
before the buggy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like that
That's where
for
I'd put it.
sure. Cool. And then the final one for Dead Reckoning is the train crash sequence. Most of the
hmm
train stuff. What would you say is like the most memorable like stunt in this?
In the train,
Mm-hmm.
I would say when him and Haley Atwell are dangling there and all it's the piano's about to fall
Yeah.
and like she like keeps grabbing him, so like she's really adding to the tension of it all, where it's just like she's actually scared and she wants Tom Cruise not to leave her. So I
Mm-hmm.
think it really the performances really elevate this sequence. I just
For
really
sure.
like it. I liked seeing it for the first time, and both these rewatches, I was waiting for the train sequence.
Wow. Okay.
Um,
I think it
I'm
goes a
kind
bit
of
too long,
really
personally, but
okay.
maybe it's
I
just
mean, I
my own
get that.
personal.
I think the train falling off the bridge, they built a train to destroy, which is cool.
Yeah.
But the train cars hanging, that's in a stage. I mean, they have train cars and they're tilting them in the air, but they're not actually.
Above.
So
Yeah.
it's less
Obviously.
danger.
Yeah.
It's just one of my favorite like sequences that
It
they
is a
put
great
together.
sequence overall.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think like the CGI of like below them is a bit like you
Yeah,
feel the
that's
disconnect
unfortunate.
somewhat.
Yeah.
Little less polished and harkens to the first train sequence a bit.
Yep.
Um, so yeah, I struggle to kind of find the distinct stunts in this one, but I do like those sequence a lot. But what do you
I
think
do
on
think he's
this?
actually like holding Atwell too and like lifting her. And I
Oh
think, I
yeah,
mean, that obviously takes some strength. I mean, and that's another thing. The performances really sell it. Like, you
they do.
can, this is like the first time I'm like, is Tom Cruise struggling to like do something here?
Yeah, when like
You
the
know?
pipe is like going farther, and
Yeah.
he's like, caught.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't
Really,
know, man. What
I
do you
just,
think, stuntman or like Ben Stiller though?
I think it's Ben Stiller. It's either Ben Stiller or Mortal Man because
Really?
again, it is on a soundstage and there's like no stakes.
So
So
is it below fish tank
it
explosion?
is. I think it
Okay.
is.
Is it below this?
It actually might be bottom Mortal Man if I'm thinking about it.
Wow. I
No,
kind of
I
agree
would.
though. Like, but this one is tough to.
Yeah,
It's above.
that's what
It's
I'm
below
saying.
this. I'd say this is kind of a
Yeah,
barrier. This one like has more. Well, I don't know. The hanging. Kind of think that's what we should do. Just
that
because like
feels good.
you can register at least the physicality in this scene more than
Right.
like what the fuck is happening in this. So
I agree. And again, nothing from the scene. The scene's great. I love this sequence. And yeah, so
cool.
it's
I
just
like that.
not as impressive danger wise.
Yeah, for sure. And now we are on the final reckoning. I have
Here
the
we
two
are.
stunts here, right? The two main ones,
Yes. Yes.
mostly sequences too. First is the submarine. So I don't know. Did
This
you get some
sequence
behind the scenes on
ruled.
these?
Not a whole lot. I just got the tank that was built for the submarine, and like it is a rotating cylinder with like fake missiles and stuff. And Tom Cruise is actually like doing it.
Hmm.
So like he's actually rotating with it, and he's in water, and the tank's in water when he's like riding the subs and stuff. Like there's a lot of practical things happening, but it's
Yeah,
in a giant tank that they built.
I could see that
Oh,
for sure. But I do think like the fact that they have like the water real, like there's the real factor is still here somewhere,
right. I agree,
and it's
100%.
like he's got this suit underwater, and it is like functioning. I would assume how it's supposed
Yeah,
to. Yeah, I don't know. Like too, like what was the like real factor on like the exiting of the submarine and like the kind of like getting hit along the second submarine was like how real was that
I,
is like what I
I, f-
question too. Like
you see, I know there was a delay in filming, but I couldn't remember if it was a delay for getting a sub or getting an aircraft carrier because I know there was some sort of like water vessel that they needed that they had delay filming for.
oh
And
yeah,
if
okay.
it was a sub that elevates this a little bit more,
That
but I'm
opening
pretty
shot
sure
would be
Tom
crazy if it's
says there
real.
was actual submarines and stuff happening. So I
Oh,
feel like some of those shots of him like on like exiting the sub and stuff was real. I'm waiting for obviously the movie just came out, so I couldn't really find much on it.
right, we don't know for sure, but like some
Yeah,
if that stuff is real, I mean that's obviously a huge step up. But then once they get inside, I mean I think it's all soundstage stuff, but
it is.
like
Yeah,
still like even that they have like the torpedo props in the water rotating
yeah,
freely or whatever their wires they're on is enough to me to be like, that's more than what they should be doing.
I agree. I personally would put this above the Magic, right below Halo Jump.
Oh shit. Okay.
How does that make you feel?
I'm almost inclined to try to pull it back below this knife one.
The knife thing really excites you.
It does. I mean, like you can't
I
deny
get it.
this
No, no,
image.
I get it.
Like you
I
can't
get it.
deny like the magic stuff. This is like there is like the fakeness factor is still there somewhere.
I okay. I hear
You,
you.
you agree? Okay.
I agree. I agree. Just because it is on a soundstage. If it does come out that the sub stuff, like he's actually getting hit by a sub, if that's real,
Yeah. Then
you
it goes
know,
up. Then it goes
yeah.
up for sure.
But
And
yeah,
I just gotta say too, that sequence, I really loved the way he's like. First off, he goes out the torpedo hatch. It's claustrophobic as
yeah.
fuck. Great shit. And then the way he like is grasping at the top,
Mm-hmm.
and he like floats up to the
Because
ice
he's slowly
layer.
getting the bends, and his muscles are like doing the. Oh yeah, it's so
That was
good.
great.
What a
Huge
great
shit.
sequence. And I'm a sucker for underwater sequences, so like maybe that just adds to it. But it was just so good.
That was the
Ocean
best scene in the
scary.
movie. I think honestly, like,
Agreed.
we'll talk about the
100%.
biplane now too, but like that was where I felt the most and like tension and interest. I
Eh,
think
Definitely. I 100% agree. Like, I know everyone's talking about the biplane scene, but that sub scene was just kind of amazing for
I
me.
liked it. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And the final stunt of the
Here we
Mission
are.
Impossible franchise, the biplane stunt. I would say this has a little bit of like Rogue Nation energy, a little bit of Fallout energy, kind of,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, kind of coasting on that. But you can't deny the muscling around of like the plane, like the maneuvering on the
Yes.
plane.
Yep. And like the zero G's that he hits finally, where he kind of floats between the two wings.
Yeah,
I mean, that's all real shit.
he's in like the
So like,
wires of them.
yeah,
I like how you can see the villain like laughing at him in the
yeah,
back of the shot too. I don't know if he's actually in the plane or not, but that
he
was
is. So they're both in the planes. When the plane flips upside down, that's when uh, Gabriel exits stage left and
mhm,
hits the green screen. But Tom is doing it all, of course. He
right,
can't help but to be a maniac.
right.
But when he's doing that, there's a man in a green screen suit flying the plane to make sure that the
Ah,
plane doesn't just
I
crash.
was wondering if it was like remote or something, but yeah,
Yeah.
very cool. Makes sense. Like as far as like putting your body on the line in precarious situations, it's undeniable. Like in
Yes.
air,
Oh,
something could go
yes.
wrong with the plane.
To add to it, there was a moment where he was on the plane and you're like 6 minutes, I think, is like the limit your body can handle before you have to like stop, get in breath, like get real oxygen.
Yeah.
Well, he stayed out. He wanted to keep doing the take, and he like passed out on the wing, and they had to like get him to come back, and then he came to just a little bit, enough to crawl into the plane and like come to back fully into the plane.
Jesus
So like,
Christ.
yeah. So like,
That's crazy.
this is definitely, I think, Thetan material.
I would say so too.
Yeah. Just the
Uh, I'd,
risk of it all.
I'd say probably above this one too, because this one is a little more locked in one
Yeah.
like
Agreed.
one location, and this one he's fucking bouncing.
Yeah, I agree.
And I really like the like in this shot is like where you can kind of see it, but like the diving between the cliffs cannot really be denied either. Like how close
Oh
they are to
no.
some things.
Yeah. It's crazy, and it's all practical.
All right,
It's so good.
good
I mean, they
shit.
shot
Way
this
to.
back in 2022, so this was
It's crazy.
a long time ago.
Yeah, they just went and got some of the stunts out of the way.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, I mean to close out the final reckoning or the whole franchise, I would say good stunt, good stunt.
definitely. And then when he hits the parachute, that's actually him falling through the air with like a GoPro, just watching him
Yeah,
fling through the air as he's trying to clip this thing. I mean, it's
yeah,
all real shit. So
that's
cool.
undeniable. Looking at this list, I think we need to bump this up. I don't know what you
I
think.
was hoping you would say that. I came to that realization. I think after the buggy. I
Yeah,
think
I think I'm
we
good with
have to.
that. But then it begs the question of this one should be bumped up. I'm kind of in, but I don't know.
I think it's on the same level as the Burj Khalifa.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
the opening shot is the establishing shot of the mountains, and you see the speck, and that's Tom Cruise. So I think like,
That's true. That's true. We'll go up there. We'll move
yeah,
that up right there.
that's the
And
scale
then
of it all.
I kind of like the cutoff for the deity one of the Rogue Nation breathing one.
Yep.
That feels pretty good, I'd say.
I mean, he's literally dies and comes back to life in that scene.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's a good.
So
Like he doesn't
then
die in real life, but in the movie. But
right. So then I guess like does this one get pumped up is the next question. I could see it. I think it's
which
above
one?
like most of
Oh, the Halo jump.
the Halo jump, yeah.
Yeah.
You think so?
Hmm.
Deity?
I think so. I mean, I really appreciate this stunt. I get like the cameraman was also doing it, but at the same time, props to both of them because
It's
I
true.
wouldn't do that shit.
Yeah, the coordination levels there, the actual
Yeah,
danger levels there. Stuntman
definitely.
cutoff for like magic seems to be kind of right, and with the Halo jump there, it seems kind of wrong. You know.
Now, do you think that magic and knife to eye should be flipped? Or do you think the fact that the
Hmm.
magic is so convincing?
Right. That's why it's so convinced. It's like it's got me. It literally
I
got
mean,
me.
fact check me after the fact and make sure I'm
Right.
right. I'll do the
Right.
same, but
No, but
I'm pretty sure he did do the close up magic.
like it's such a small moment. This is such like a terrifying
Yeah,
stunt. Like I'll put
that's what
it.
I'm saying.
I'm cool with that. I'm
Yeah.
cool with that. I like that one.
Now,
And
what
then
about flipping those two the submarine and the running? Because the running, he actually like maybe almost ended his whole career of
mhm,
being Tom Cruise running. You know?
less strategized, less
Right.
contained.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm down for that. I'm cool with that. Then we have. I kind of think this is a little more extreme. Even though I mean, one wrong turn, this guy's fucking dead. Like,
Right.
what do you think? You want to bump this?
I feel like just out of the sake that he's going like 100 plus miles per hour without a
Right,
helmet just makes it just that more.
right.
As much as I love that subsequence, it's just it is contained and is more of a controlled environment.
I'm down for that. Do you think is
No, I know that one. I don't think so.
okay, okay.
Just
I
because there's no water, there's no missiles gonna hit him in there. You know, he's just
yeah.
dangling.
I just think like the acting is like if you land on your face, you could really fuck up that face, man, and
Yeah,
that's your
it's
golden
true.
ticket.
That is fair.
The
Yeah,
danger level. No, I think that looks good. Ben Stiller. That's that's kind of two goofy stunts that feel pretty right. You know, like
agreed. Yeah,
they're
if anything,
stunts.
maybe the motorcycle stunt jousting might even be a Ben Stiller stunt, just
Hmm.
for the silliness of it. If we're
Yeah.
going like goofy, but
Like it's in a track, like it's not even
yeah,
like real,
exactly.
but it is kind of real. I'm down. I like that. I
Yeah,
like that.
there we go.
And
Do it for the
then
giggles.
this one is like real
Yes,
ish. Hmm.
but I'm not gonna lie. Would I do that? Would I throw myself against something to make my children laugh? I would.
And I have.
I mean, I did it recently in my backyard. I jumped
Okay.
over something and landed on the ground and hurt myself. So,
We'll put this at top Mortal Man then. Have a
yeah,
couple. The ones at the tops are they kind of blur the line. You can move them up if you want, but
this is a good list.
I
I think
think
this is pretty solid.
this looks pretty solid to me. I think we got like obviously the top ones that need to be
Absolutely.
need to be celebrated.
That was the important ones. I
Yeah.
mean, the helicopter one, I'm just glad that it's like universally accepted best sequence.
Goddamn, so good.
It's so good.
All right. I mean, this was fun ranking.
Yep.
Alex, I guess to close us out, I know this is like one of your favorite franchises, if not your favorite franchise. So I just want to open up
It
the
will.
floor and let you have like some closing thoughts on Mission Impossible.
Yeah, no, this is my favorite franchise. I love Tom Cruise, and I wrote a little something special here, a manifesto, if you will.
Nice.
Um, it harkens back to the manifesto by our man John Lark. There's never been a perfect action franchise without first a man willing to put his life on the line for the sake of entertainment. The greater the risk, the greater the stunts. The greater the stunts, the more excited we get for what's to come. We are drawn to the theaters to see this man hang from buildings, jump off and out of things, hold his breath for minutes at a time, and travel at high speeds while wearing nothing to protect his brain. This man works tirelessly to save the movie-going experience, but for the coming generation, it is for nothing. This man works tirelessly to delay the downfall of action franchises and practical stunts, but the appreciation can only come through the inevitable baptism of green screen and CGI gobbledygook. Once the suffering of computer generated images wears down the generations to come, they will look back on this time with fondness. Slowly, we will understand that Ethan Hunt truly was trying to save every living citizen from total AI destruction. There
Wow.
we have it.
Beautifully said. Yep.
Thank you.
100%
Thank
agreed.
you.
Well, Alex, thanks for joining, man. Good
Yeah.
chat. Had a
Thanks for
good
having
time.
me.
Yeah, we'll have to have you back for some other topics in the future. Something
Yeah.
else.
I love talking movies, and especially if it's something like, you know, action movies, stuff that you can just sit back and, gush over. So
Yeah, anything Tom
it's fun.
Cruise too. I mean, it's an
Oh,
easy in for you. So
please. Yes.
we'll see what's coming next. Yeah, yeah. Thanks for watching Maticus Live. Next week, maybe talk a little Karate Kid. We'll see. Yeah. See you then.
Did you see the trailer for that?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.